Hey guys, and welcome to Littleblackbook91. Yes, you are in for a fabulous treat. It's your favorite dating and relationship coach, and today I have a wondrous conversation ready for you guys. Yes, I have Gregg and Millie from the Never Ever Meets, or Never Ever Mets, however you say it. Look, we're gonna have one of those great conversations where we get deep and get some truth. And sometimes there's a little bit of tea that comes with it. Okay, all right. But what I'm going to say to you guys is keep it kosher, keep it clean, keep it cute in the chat. Okay, all right. Mods, do what you have to do. But, I want you guys to be respectful. I want you to enjoy the conversation. Of course, have fun as always. But let's keep it, respectful. Okay, all right. Now, let me introduce my fabulous guests. I got Gregg and Millie. If you haven't watched the latest first season of the Never Ever Mets, you missed a storm. You saw some key moments between these two. Okay, all right. Fabulous and stylish. Lovely. And it had a lovely little journey of finding love and growing and developing on the show. Gregg and Millie, how you doing today? You all right?
Yes.
What up, man? Talk to me, man.
I love the energy. Y'all looking beautiful. Millie looking beautiful. You looking handsome, Gregg. Okay? All right.
Appreciate that, Kojo. Millie, you look beautiful. Simply amazing.
Thank you. You're looking great too, Gregg. I see you. We're all wearing black. Like this is meant to be.
It's gonna be a funeral. I mean, somebody trying to cut up. Whose funeral is it, Millicent?
I mean, whose idea was to wear all black? I have no clue. The Holy Spirit working. That's what I'm saying.
Think alike, man. We're here.
That's what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean? Great minds think alike indeed. Well, listen, before we get into any festivities, any kind of conversations, look, I got to do some needed housekeeping. We call it human verification. Now, there's two of you today, so this is going to be powerful, okay? All right? I like to do human verification. Make sure you guys are actually human and not some AI in front of us because, 2024, technology is wild out here, Gregg's beard is looking real AI at one point, so, be careful. You know what I'm saying to you? Maybe I can put that beard on myself, you know what I mean? So I'm going to ask you a few questions each just to make sure you're human. Is that okay?
I know where this
is. Exactly. You know where I'm going, Gregg. So my first question is, if you were stuck on an island, I know it's different this time. If you were stuck on an island, okay, all right, and you could choose one person to be on that island with, a celebrity. Now, of course, it's not you two, your celebs are in your own right, but if you could choose one celebrity to be on an island with you, who would you choose? This is a question to both of you. Gregg, I want you to go first, and Millie, you're going to answer. Who would you want to be on an island?
I said the name. 50 Cent. I said it. You heard
what you say, girl?
50 Cent. Sorry, Gregg.
She's trying to get rich dad trying. I've heard this before.
It's not much hope for you, Gregg.
How do I love? He knows my celebrity crush is 50 Cent, so it's 50 Cent.
She might make 50 Cent at this point as well. Gregg, what's your answer?
Man. Dead or alive? Am I overthinking it? I'm gonna go Vanity. Rest her soul.
Oh, okay.
Wait, say who?
Princess Flame. Denise Matthews. Vanity from the 80s. But if you want better, I'll probably say Doja Cat
for me.
Yeah, I'll go Doja.
Everybody went to Google just now, Gregg.
We really did. I can't lie to you. I had no clue.
I was gonna say Millicent Reed, but she ain't ready for it. You want to go down?
Yeah, great. Okay, I'll just have to accept it. You know what I mean? I can't do nothing about it. I just have to accept it.
Fair enough.
Keep the receipt. I'll go down there with Millie. How's that? Because I might have to return her after 2 nights.
It's getting worse by the minute. Gregg's getting worse by the minute. That's cool. That's all right. We'll work with it. All right, cool. Second question. You are on a plane. Yes, you are on a plane at some altitude. The pilot calls in and says, "Hey, Gregg, Millie, you know what I mean? We can drop you in any country you want, okay? In any country you want, right? I want to know what country you'd want to be dropped in and why? Again, I'm gonna go Millie first this time because she gonna have an answer ready for us already, and then we can go Greg. Go on, Millie.
Of course, I have an answer. I'm Jamaican. I want to be dropped in Jamaica. Why am I here in America? I would go back to JA. I would totally go back there. The food is better. My skin was clear. The food was all organic. The chicken wings were small. I am going back to Jamaica. I'm sorry. Like America, I love y'all. Not I appreciate everything that you've done for my family, but I will go straight back to y'all. I will go right back to Jamaica. It's so beautiful. Like my ancestors were speaking to me. My grandparents are, God rest their soul, they are buried there. That's where I would go. And that's my reasons because it just makes sense.
Not mad at it. Love it. Okay. Yeah, Jamaica it is. What part of Jamaica are you from though?
Kingston. My family's from Kingston 11. So Waterhouse, that's where they're from.
Love that. Love that. The team, my team, a couple of us who in the chat were in Montego Bay last year. So I love that. Greg, what about you, my brother? Where are you getting dropped off?
Man, that's tough, man. I'll probably say I beat that. I think I like that. And be on that island seemed pretty cool. I was going to say like Athens or Santorini, but they go more to something different, you know. I'll go out there, disappear into oblivion, won't nobody find me. And I don't know if they have quickly, you know, when like Spain kind of shuts down, I forget what it's called, from like 1 to 5, everyone's just kind of idle. I can't think of the term. I sound ignorant, but you just put your phone down and everything just shuts off. I think we're kind of lacking that, especially stateside, Kojo. It's a little too hectic over here, man.
I could imagine. I've been there a few times, and yeah, you know, the good Lord had to deliver me. So, hey, you know what? Stories for another day. I'm a changed man.
What about yourself? Where would you go? Where would you like to be dropped off? Like, how about yourself? So we could get to know you too. Where would you like to be dropped off?
That's a good question. Where would I like to go? Where would I like to go? Do you know what? I think next place I want to definitely probably go. It's between Mexico and Japan. Can't lie to you. So one of the two places. You know what I'm saying to you, I'll be seeing Mexico in my dreams. So if anybody wants to buy me a ticket to Mexico, let me know. And yeah, Japan just because like it's really cool. I heard there's a vibe, and I want to drive Mario Kart. So I really want to be able to do that. So yeah, Japan or Mexico would be pretty cool. I think.
Do you like anime?
I do, you know, can't lie to you. Yeah. Strong fan, you know what I mean? Strong fan, you know what I mean? Are you like anime?
I love anime. I love everything. Well, I'm not going to get too much into that, but yes, I'll just answer it straight. Yeah, I do.
Anime is a thing, I can't lie to you. Mm-hmm. It's a thing, you know, but somebody would call it childish on Pop the Balloon, but we have to all, you know, allow them because they're growing and learning. So
I still watch SpongeBob.
Okay, now baby, we said anime. You went to SpongeBob, so we're gonna leave you on that. We're gonna leave you on that one because you went too far now. Okay, you went too far. We were sticking with anime. You went to SpongeBob. Okay, all right. Our final question on this is cereal or the milk in the bowl first? Cereal or the milk in the bowl first?
And you pour it first and then the milk. Don't give me no serial killer shit.
No, because it's gonna get soggy. Right, so it's the cereal first, then the milk. I'm sorry, because I don't want to get soggy. Like, as soon as you have the difference for me is just the whole. I don't want to use that much milk. I just feel like if I have my cereal in there first, right, I'm not gonna pour out that much milk. Some people just pour out the milk first, but you're not gonna need all that milk, so it's just wasting stuff. That's wasteful. I don't want to waste stuff. So,
I don't like this. I like my face before. I figured we've been eating cereal since we was yay high. I know just the amount of milk I want to put in that bowl, man.
Hey, listen, I'm not going to compete with you and argue you guys, okay? I'm going to put the milk in first and put the cereal in. I think either way, the cereal is drowning, okay? So we're all a bunch of serial killers here. So it don't really matter which way you go for it, okay? You trying to drown the cereal, okay? You want the cereal to be, you know, as it's, you know what I'm saying to you, as I, you know, I'm putting it into a pool of milk, whichever one works for you, you know what I mean? But I definitely hear about the soggy thing, you get me? You know, it depends what cereal you got, you know what I'm saying? I get a cheaper brand, so it usually kind of stays a little bit longer in the milk. Okay, cool. I think you guys passed. You guys are human beings. And I appreciate you guys sharing that little moment with me and breaking some ice as we go. I like to get to know you guys before you actually came on the show because you guys have a life before we got to own TV and the Never Ever Mets, right? So I always ask this question. I'm gonna ask it to you separately to get a bit more of understanding of where you guys came from and what your life was like. So my question is, who is Millie? Who is Gregg? And what is your story? So I'll let you answer this separately. I know Millie loves to go first. She's a champion. So Millie, talk to
Yeah.
me. Who is Millie and what is your story?
Millie is a trying person. She's a person that has tried everything. She's a person that has been around things she shouldn't have been, and she was a person that just did the right things. Number one thing, I'm always a good person. I always am a person that's very observing, and I love to observe everything. So if women are treating me wrong or guys are treating me wrong, and people are like, I'm like, what's the reason behind all of this? Why are people treating me that way? Like I should be treated a certain way. When I first came to California at 22 years old, people were like, I just felt like when you were 22, they would use you. And I had no direction when I first came here, honestly. I came here after college. I graduated college in 2012. Then 2013, I actually decided to move here after my parents' divorce. Home was not the same anymore. And I remind you, I'm from New Jersey. When I moved here, didn't have direction or anything, but I did know I wanted to be in the industry for sure. I ended up working for a nonprofit, working with children, and sorry, there's something in the background. Working with children that had like autism and like mental disabilities and things like that. I worked with that for like 5 years, and then I actually went to school again just for my cosmetology license during the pandemic. And after that, now I'm in grad school. So my life has been really just all over the place, and now I'm going to school for clinical mental health counseling. So it's just been all over the place. I literally was in the industry. I've done music videos, I've done movies, I've done all those type of things. It never really brought true fulfillment because it wasn't consistent. You get what I'm saying? So I always had something filling that void, like, okay, you have to work, you have to use your degree, you have to do this and that. And that's exactly what I did. And then now I'm 34 now. So it's just like when I was on the show, I was 32. I'm like, okay, I gotta settle down now. I gotta find love. And Gregg, I love Gregg, and I love the fact that like it was like perfect timing when Gregg was like, "Hey, would you like to do this with me?" Because I just got in a relationship, even though it wasn't the perfect time to do this. I'm happy that we did, and I'm happy that Gregg chose me because he had others. He had others, but he chose me, and I appreciate that. I still love him. Um, I think that most of him, I still feel the same way. I still have feelings for Gregg too, but now we're in a different space 2 years later. So that's where I'm at.
I love that. Thank you, Millie, for sharing that. Okay.
Oh, one more thing. I got baptized August 26th, 2023. So like a year ago. So just wanted to put that out there.
Hallelujah. Hey, sister,
Yeah.
welcome. Welcome, man.
Thank you.
I hope they dipped you good. I hope they dipped you good. You know what I'm saying to you?
Took her all the way to the
Yeah.
bottom.
Yeah. Gregg, same question to you. I mean, who is Gregg and what is Gregg's story?
That's a tough act to follow, Millie. Shout out for sharing that again. Of course, I'd heard um, most of that, but it's
Mhm.
amazing to hear the progression of the journey. Kind of everywhere, Kojo, man. Sometimes, it's life is a chessboard. You got to move around sideways, backwards, just to propel frontwards. So I did the school thing. I'm from Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona, where it's hot as hell. Um, I want to say I moved away around 25, maybe 26 after I graduated school a couple years afterwards and got into hospitality and then started to do marketing and everything like that and realized as much as I enjoy it, is there more meat on the bone, so to speak? And I jettisoned to Detroit, Michigan. Shout out to the D. I was out there for about a year and a half. Too damn cold, freezing and everything. And mind you, I've got no family like in the Midwest and I'd never been there before. I just um, hate to take a dark turn. Millicent and I've always kind of bonded on our parents' kind of dynamics. My parents went their separate, respected ways too. Mind you, I was already a lad, an old chap, as it were, to use your terminology. And it kind of broke me, man. And I've never really talked about it, didn't really know how to. Sometimes I just got to know is to get up out of there. And it, you know, uh, you find out what you're made of. You're either going to sink or swim when you're on your own and everything like that. And I'm not going to go down. I'm only going to move forward. So after Detroit, I just Shanghaied. I swear to you, I think I drove 4 states in one night, which was some of the best times road trip, just by myself, my thoughts, the wind, music. And I'll never forget that. I did that. I embarked on maybe 5, almost 6 years ago, Millicent. I think it'll be 6 years in August, which is, I can't even fathom something like that since I've been out here. And I haven't turned back since. So I transferred to my job at the time, and then, not to sound arrogant or anything, Coach, you kind of hear some things like maybe you should try modeling, probably similar to Millicent's journey. And you've kind of got like one ear open. And you find out it's fun. This thing might pay something, but you, for better or for worse, you never burn any bridges when you shake hands with these people and you meet them, because you never know who you're going to run into. And that's just how I pattern my life anyway. So it's just a long-winded way of saying God's been good. I kind of stumbled into, I never really had aspirations as far as acting or really took it seriously or knew what it was. Obviously, I love movies and things like that. But coming into this and the show, I wanted to go on this journey. And it was a bumpy road, as Millicent alluded to. I had to get out of my own way. You didn't ask this, Coach. She'd always been on my radar to pay her back compliments, which I have no problem doing. I was looking at her from a distance, and when we first kind of got on, it's probably, I guess 5 years ago now, but it was just on Instagram, and she had a situation. She had a partner, so mind you, there's not much you can do. I didn't know her, so there was not really any sense of trying to get in the inbox. I had nothing to go off of, and she seemed happy, but your boy screenshotted that, and I just, by the grace of God, I think I doubled back, because I was like, man, this, she was easy on the eyes, and that's, not to sound superficial, that's all you've got initially. And then you start to talk to her. I'd seen her on a dating app, and you see some of the things she's interested in, and some of like even a paragraph, or excuse me, a sentence or rhetoric could be enough to kind of captivate you. Like, this seems a little different, so let me see what this goes. And man, I just blew the whistle and finally got at her, and the rest has been history, man.
I love that. I love the fact that both of you speak so fondly of each other, and you big each other up as well, in your stories as well, and in your interactions with that. So I really love that as well. It's quite warming. Okay, let's dive into something, because before you got onto the show, right? You had your life, and you were living it in a particular way, and you were going through your own events, right? So I guess I'll go to Millie again. Millie, tell me a little bit about, because we always like on this channel, we talk about upbringing and how that affects us in terms of our adulthood as well. So I would love to know more, because obviously, of course, you like I said, you want to go into the TV aspect, and you grad school and all this kind of stuff as well. But tell us a little bit about your upbringing. What was that like for you, Millie, growing up in your household? What was your experience?
Toxic. My parents would fight all the time in front of us. I have my 2 other sisters, they would do it in front of they would fight in front of us. Honestly, I don't want to get too much into them. That's what they did. I forgive them. But it was hard. And also I didn't grow up just the American way. I grew up with Jamaican parents. I mean, straight from yard. Like, they're not American. Oh. So the things that I seen were crazy. I'm like, you guys can't act like this in this country, I'm kind of happy that they divorced, honestly, when my dad had a heart-to-heart with me, and he told me what went on in my adult age now. My adult years, he actually told me what mental issues that he had. And I thank him so much for being that vulnerable with me and real, to let me know like how he was mentally not there. And I'm just like, thank you, Daddy, for telling me the truth. Now I understand, and I won't sit here and judge you, right? But it was hard. And I even want to bring up the fact that, like, I'm the middle child. I'm the child that, they didn't care when I spoke. Like, they were like, okay, Millie, what do you want now? I'm like, I want to say something. Somebody listen to me in this room, and I swear I didn't get my voice until I had to prove myself to my parents. It's not easy. Like, they will call you dumb if you didn't get straight A's, or like, they would not beat me, but they would say like, oh, you are dumb, do this and that, like, you're dumb. Like, I'm like, how am I dumb? Because I had an A-. Y'all could have, they was doing too much. I love them. I still love them. And I see why they were hard on us, because it was hard for them. Coming to America, they want the best for their children. I get that. As I get older, I understand why they were strict and why they wanted the best for us. Like, they always said to us, like, we love you in here. Nobody is ever going to love you outside of this house. And this was just true. And then so you get into this big world. I moved to California. Nobody likes you. Like, and I just had to realize that me being a person, I'm a Gemini. I love people. I'm extroverted. I just love meeting people. And when people do me bad, I still give them a chance to just make up for it. And like maybe, I don't know, maybe it's an attachment thing. Maybe I have that issue or whatever. But I had to get older and learn, like, Millie, like, it's okay. You don't have to be a people pleaser anymore. You don't have to be a person that like always wants people to like you. And I'm okay if you don't like me. Now I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm just gonna be myself. And if it works, it works. If it don't, it don't. It is what it is at this point. But like, I forgave my parents, did this discussion. I did therapy. You know, I just, yeah, there's a lot of childhood trauma there for sure. But like, when it comes to my relationships, I don't want to put like abandonment issues, daddy issues on my man. Like, I never had that issue in a relationship. I was never so attached to somebody that I need to like, oh my God, like it was never like that. But I did do counseling at the time, like in 2018 for it. But I have other trauma now because I just got out of a relationship. And that was the only thing that was the issue between Greg and I. I didn't have time to heal. Like, I really didn't have time to heal. It was like we broke up August, right? And then we did the show in like October. So it was just like there was no time for me to heal. It was just like, all right, Millie, you're back on this dating app, you're on Hinge. I see you. I know you're single. Like, now it's my time to have you because like all these guys had you and I want you now. So I'm just like, it was the perfect time, honestly, for me and Greg to just do that. And I'm happy. I'm so happy that God made me like ready and available just in that moment just to do that with Greg. Because Greg needed that too for himself. And I'm so happy that everything came together as it did. Yeah.
I appreciate it, Millie. I want to ask a further question before I get Greg involved. You know, obviously, like I said, being a middle child, not easy. Witnessing what you witnessed with your parents, not easy. I want to know the due to what you witnessed and what you observed, how did that, looking back at it, how did it affect you in relationships with friends, with loved one, with lovers later on? Like, looking at what you experienced, how did that affect you in future relationships? Looking back at it now.
Hey, so when I was like in my 20s, honestly, I was like combative, as you guys would say, like, oh, Millie would just argue with everyone and everyone. Millie just doesn't care. Like, I literally would go off on some of my boyfriends that I've had for sure. I never went off on Greg though. I never, because at a certain age, I did counseling at 27. So that's when I actually stopped going off on people actually and practice, you know, emotional intelligence and things like that. So at the end of the day, like, I only yell at people when I feel like I have to defend myself. And now I feel like when I did counseling, I don't need to speak like that. People was like, oh my God, what you look like and what you sound like is totally different, Millie. You don't even have to do that. So I was just like, you're so right. I don't look like what I've been through. I just don't. So it's just kind of like, nah, I don't have to act certain ways. I mean, I feel like the Chris situation and the way I was acting with that was just because I just don't like men that don't like women. I just have an issue with that, honestly. So that's all.
Definitely hear that. Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you, Millie. Greg, you know, obviously for yourself, you know, like you said, you also had, you know, you had mentioned that obviously your upbringing, and how at some points it was difficult when the parents obviously split. But I want to know, for you, what was your upbringing like for you? Like, what did you experience? What did you witness? What was it like for you in terms of your upbringing?
Yeah, you know, the upbringing, you know, I would never speak ill of any of my family members. When it was up, it was like a Brady Bunch-esque kind of thing. Mind you, I'm one of 6 kids, so I've got 4 sisters, brother, and I've got a twin as well. So some of the stuff in the flack, like I said, I'm not perfect, but I feel like you learn to listen to women. Either they're gonna start dropping on you, kicking your ass, or you just don't want to deal with that. And then I've got one brother. Shout out to him, good guy. He's 10 years younger though, so I love him, but I just feel like he came too late. You know, I'm 17. He's 7. I can't speak to him about anything that, you know, I'm going through. But in relation to that, you know, shout out to Pops, Gregg Sr. It's not really easy being a junior. I know that might sound minor. Big shoes to fill, and really being the only son for the longest time. And then my dad he was in law enforcement. He just retired, and happy belated birthday, Pops, June 28th. Shout out to you again. Going through that, man, you know, he worked hard, as both of my parents did, but you didn't see him often. You got to bring the bacon home, got to break the money, make the money. So as far as like little things, like I want to go throw out the football and all the sports stuff that I very much love, you learn to do that on your own, or just go play with the neighborhood kids, which is well and good. But you felt alone and empty sometimes because, especially as my sisters got older, it was harder to relate, and they're doing their thing and they're all so close, and it's just kind of you in the mix, and somewhere along the lines, I think I deviated. And that's probably why I like to do my own thing now. I can go off, disappear. I can go to the movies by myself and thoroughly enjoy that. I can go with Millicent and have the same great, grandiose time. It's just, I like my zen or whatever that offers, so to speak. She might laugh because I think I'd wander around in that house and just disappear for a little bit on hand, and then just kind of come back. But it's not personal. I just feel like, I don't know, it's just something that I've always done. And I'm trying to think. Another thing with the middle child syndrome kind of stuff, like I was so elated to bring my mother on the show because we don't have the best bond. And I'm talking from like a personal kind of nature. There's nothing my parents want to do for me at all, both of them. But they don't really ask about anything. And sometimes it feels like, do you care? I know they do, but you're just trying to straighten those things because you see the bonds that my mother had possessed with all my sisters and stuff like that. And I just felt like I've been bereft, and I didn't really have that on that personal nature. So maybe I was looking for closure, and then it goes from listening to women to now you're fully confident in yourself, and that listening becomes a relationship or a situationship. And then maybe you can kind of channel your powers for evil, so to speak. And you kind of get in that disruptive pattern. And I think that's why, better yet, I know that's why I just wasn't quite ready as I regaled y'all on the show to meet Millicent, just because, yeah, I liked her. Well, I didn't know I was going to like her, but she looked good, as I mentioned. But I got a few others in the cut, as it were. And it's just hard to kind of please everybody. And there's only 24 hours in the day. And I'm really not one type to lie or anything. But if there's any way I can kind of maneuver around the loophole, I would do that. So that's why it's important to say this. Kojo, you didn't ask, and Mills, you probably already know a little bit this, but a couple of comments I did see, those trying to be messy and think, oh, she's just second choice, third fiddle, and it's like, it couldn't be further from the truth. I know how that may sound and things of that nature. Mind you, she was the first person, as I'm spilling some tea, Millicent was the first person I told, just because that's just my character. That doesn't mean it's going to make it right, and I didn't expect her to like it, and I know she really didn't, but we talked about it, and I think she saw how confident and forthright I was with that. And sometimes I think being overly truthful can kind of fuck shit up as well, but I'd rather just have that and kind of give you the headshot initially than bleed you out, so to speak. So I just didn't think, I knew I was good enough for her. I just didn't think would I break bad to go on this journey if I was going to break her heart, so to speak. So that was why I was very reticent about that, because I didn't want to do that anymore. And mind you, this goes both ways, but it's just not as fun as it used to be. And it's just growth. Like I mentioned, if I were the same man I were in college, I would have wasted 12, 15 years, So it took some time, and I come around like fine wine, and sometimes you got to go through these lessons. I said, smooth seas never built for skilled sailors, man. You got to have some of those trials and tribulations within your life, man. So everything is made me stronger. So I couldn't be happy to do it. And to pay a compliment, I still love the woman, got much love for her. She's amazing. And that's that, man.
I love that. Let me ask a further question then, because obviously for yourself, like you said, your mom had a closer. It felt like your mom had a closer bond with your sisters, because again, women and daughters, moms and daughters, and obviously you felt a little bit of that alienation a little bit as well as the only son at the time, because your brother came along when you were 17, he was 7, so it's like a 10-year gap, like it's a big gap between you two, right? Obviously for you then. You also mentioned about the split and how that affected you. I want to know, like, from your perspective, how did the split affect you and how you operated in relationships, whether it's with friends or whether it's romantic relationships? Looking now from a future to the past, how do you feel like that split of watching your parents split affect you in relationships?
Well, in one fell swoop, it just felt like the world crashed in and just fell completely on its ear, 180. Because, like I said, shout out to my parents, but it wasn't like anything where you see on television where it seems like they're cordial. I haven't seen them together to this day. I wouldn't know if they talk. And it's not like I don't care. It's just, I don't know. I guess whatever my old man's reasons were, they were better than where he was. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to press him. He's grown. And, sometimes it's just life, you know what I'm saying? So to truthfully answer your question, it fucked me, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not really one to seek counseling. I'm not trying to be all macho and say I wouldn't. It's just one of those things like, yeah, I'll listen to it. And then I'm never going to go do it on my own accord. So my sisters, they can kind of, they spoke to each other and all that. Mind you, I think I just kind of moved, and then I had a promotion, and I just had to get myself out of that environment because it just looked like somebody, for 25 plus years, all that love and passion and reverence. And it wasn't like that anymore. And you see one party seemingly fighting more for it, and that my mother, and that breaks your heart, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I think about it more than I care to, and I don't want to say I did the wrong thing, but I had to kind of get out for me because I was developing a self-destructive pattern, and that was coming with the ladies because I've been in the offense, to use a analogy, for years, man. I've been running the same offense, and business has been good, so to speak, as far as with women. And then they start off in relationships, and the relationship will reduce to dating, and then dating will reduce to a situationship. And next thing you know, that's just really what life is, man. And you're not even giving yourself a chance to kind of see if you like this woman just because it's just an easy fix. And it goes both ways. Like I said, it's not just myself. Takes two, but I need to have better discernment and judgment because I can only control my actions. So I didn't have to kind of take that bait. And you can get jammed. You stand more to lose than what you have to gain. That's how I kind of looked at it. And especially out here in LA, you do a couple things and now you just really feel like it's smooth sailing. So let me just kind of fuck it, man. Let the chips fall where they may. I got to do this. Can I be real with the women anymore? I don't know, because I see my pops, who, mind you, taught you everything since you're yay high. Pull up the chairs, do this for a woman, do that. And the next thing you know, it's like I don't even recognize this person anymore. So I just had to kind of do some soul searching. And I'm on the job, So I know it's gotten better because when I put my head down, that's why I was telling Millicent, some of the cast, Kojo, like, I'm grinding right now, and it's not personal. If anyone calls, I'll answer. It's just I don't have no time to be for the bullshit anymore as far as anything. And whether that takes, like I said, if you got an addiction and you're fat, maybe you shouldn't go through the bakery or something like that. So I don't want to say I've been that bad, but I'm not on any dating site or in DMs like that just because I know what that could potentially lead to. It could probably lead to something great, but I've had my eyes on that beautiful flower or whatever in the center of the screen. So that was always the plan. I told her that from the beginning. And sometimes, you deviate from that, and life happens. But once I said it, I'd rather not break the mold. So as I mentioned earlier, life is full of surprises, and you never know how things end up, because I still feel for her, and deep within, I know she feels for me too, man.
I love that. Before I go to Millie, I wanna be able to maybe just tap in a little bit more of that, because I want to be able to understand something. So, for you, obviously, like I said, that's the split obviously did affect you, right? And then you kind of let us know that obviously in amongst that, when it came to your relationships, it kind of put you in a place where almost, quote unquote, you become non-committal, right? So you get in relationships and it ends up becoming a situationship, which means we're having non-committal relationships, which I'm not judging. I always tell people I came from Egypt not long ago, and it doesn't mean physically I came from that country. It means that's the state of mindset I had. So I do understand, being in that space of not wanting to commit per se. I want to know more about, for instance, what is the narrative that you tell yourself when you are in these relationships? Like, what's going through Gregg's head when you are in these relationships that start off like, okay, I'm getting to know you, it's getting on good, and then maybe it gets to a place where it gets situationship. I want to know, what is the narrative that you tell yourself in amongst those relationships with those ladies, and why it goes flat after a while?
That sounds like it's for me, correct?
Yes, it is. Sorry, that was for you, Gregg. Sorry about that.
Got my feet to the coals, boy. It's the hot seat. No, if I got the answer, man, I'll tell you. It just becomes part of the game after a short while, man. Line them up, knock them down, man. And like anything else, if you keep doing your craft, you'll become pretty good at it. And I had a rotation. It's been a long time since I've not had one of those. And that doesn't mean that I'm not treating them right. And some of them may want the same things. We're not really having that rhetoric. And like I said, I could just be one of the roosters too. And as far as it was with that lady prior to Millicent, that was a little confusing because we kind of had something, and then lo and behold, I guess she already had a guy, and she kind of came over just days before we kind of went on this. So you see what the mindset is? It's not like I guess to a certain thing, I'm being a little coy and somewhat dishonest, but if I'm dating multiple people, that's what it is. I'm still dating. You know what I'm saying? So I'd still talk to Millicent. Obviously, I was just not man enough to kind of tell her where I stood and ask and everything, but still kind of keeping her at bay while I had the other situation that was, she's come to see me and it's working. You know what I'm saying? It's efficient. So why mess this thing up? And then she went off and kind of got married. You can't get mad at it. I couldn't get mad at it because she didn't belong to me. I didn't belong to her. It's just another one bites the dust, man. So it's just a disruptive kind of pattern. And like I said, I'm single, so I don't want to beat myself up too much. But that doesn't mean that's how a single person has to behave, this, that, and the third. You could have one, or you could simply talk about where this is going. And mind you, I've done that with a few ladies and stuff too, you know, and I kind of get tired of the good mornings or letting them down easy because it's kind of hurtful knowing that you probably don't want to see her again. And I kind of went on this journey with Mills. I knew there was a strong chance, of course, that I like her, but you never truly know. You just don't. And it didn't hit me with until we kind of get in there and you're up under, because I've never lived with a woman and a partner. And you kind of see somebody who challenges you. Not to say that they didn't challenge me, but she fought back in a sense that was kind of, it was never about sex for me or anything, Kojo or Millicent. I know the show may have kind of depicted that. I'm not a deviant. Of course, it's important, the physical aspect. I do feel like if I never told her that, we would have been in there, did our thing far easier. But the fact that here's this beautiful woman, but she's got some substance to her and this mind and everything too. And she's really not falling for the little ET Reese's Pieces traps that I'm putting, you know what I'm saying? And I think we all kind of like that ultimately. And that didn't mean I just kept doing that to get the tail or anything. You'd be like, man, all that shit is inconsequential when you start talking to her and be like, oh, she's funny. She's this. Even when she's kind of cutting up, let's get to the reason why, the underlying reason, and unpack that, you know, because we have a lot of similar stuff. I didn't really like kind of the rhetoric of maybe trauma bonding, and we'll get down that later, but it's like we had other stuff that is so similar and similar real life instances and shit that we can talk about, and that just outweighed any kind of physical nature. And I don't know, she'd probably tell you better than me. I think she tried to stall me out to prove a point, but I don't mind.
Okay. No, before I go to Millie, 'cause I really was going to go to Millie, but you I just want to make it. I just want to clear the air quickly to make sure we're on the same page. So, I know you spoke about Millie and obviously how how you could have maybe behaved differently, which is fair. I guess obviously because I understand the rotation aspect, right? I do actually get it. I actually, like I said, I didn't come. It's not long ago I came from Egypt, so I do understand where you're coming from, right? But I know for me, and maybe you can respond to this. I know for me, the reason why I had the rotation, number one, is fun. Can't lie to you. Let's not lie. Number two, it's about power. Okay. All right. And number three, it's also a way of actually protecting myself from actually dealing with real life emotions. If I have several women that I deal with, I don't have to really deal with all their emotions. Once you do too much, I can cut you, or I can move on and I can come back a little bit later on. If you don't give me what I need, that's fine. I've got someone else who can give me my needs. It actually allowed me to be able to, be as free as I needed to be, and I was my best self with everybody temporarily. So they never got to see every shade of me. They only saw the best parts of me. So I was freaking amazing. If I'm honest with you, I was temporarily, but they never got to see me on a depth, especially as somebody who would ask more questions and actually speak. They would tell me their whole life. So it looked like there was a connection, but there is no real connection because I'm not sharing equally mutually. Now, the story I told myself was that, for me, which is that I don't want to connect because when I connect, there's a fear of rejection here. This is a reality situation. So having several women at one point boosts my ego, gives me a validation, but actually underneath it all for me personally, right? Not dealing with one person is because I hadn't found the one, but also two, I don't like rejection. And so that's my story. That's why I was asking. I wanted to see what was underpinning it all for you, because I know you linked it to Millie, but Millie is only one person, which came later on. So before that, what is it for you? Because you said you don't want to go, you didn't go to the counseling. So what was it for Gregg? What is underpinning it all? Why were we in this rotation, Gregg? What was you telling yourself? Because you started, but then you kind of deviated. So what were you telling yourself at that point in time? What were you trying to protect yourself from? What were you afraid of? Tell us what was going through your mind so we understand you.
It's the fear of actually thinking that you might actually like someone or you deserve to be liked, I suppose. You're not going to attract everybody. So nobody likes rejection, of course, but I can handle that but it was just more so 51st dates, right? I don't have to get so deep. You said something so profound, Kojo, a few moments ago. I don't have to get so deep with Millicent, so to speak, if we've only went out once or twice. I don't have to regale or share any story, because sooner or later, after I kind of get what we need and what I need, it's not you, it's me. And such a shitty line, but it works almost every time. And if you want to get yourself out, just like a fight or boxing, like cheat, you'll get yourself out pretty good. And then you don't have to face the consequences or deal with the reality. And then you kind of just tell yourself that this is reality, when all you've really been running from is kind of that man in the mirror. And you're still trying to focus out or figure out what those issues are. And the more you kind of suppress them, you don't have those. So it's the fear of knowing that I know I can do right by a woman, but why, so to speak, in those kind of regards, when they're making it so easy and my dinner plate's on the left. So it's not something I just planned or had a diary, but you'd be surprised how soon you can kind of go down there, right? It's just like eating bad for weeks at hand. You'll blow up pretty quick if you're not doing anything to combat that. So she came along just when I needed her. And I hadn't been in a relationship for about 3 or 4 years, actually. I don't think I was when I came in here, just because I was enjoying the spoils of war. So as she mentioned, I know she needed to heal. And I often forget that, Koja, that she said that. And that's such a real point that she said, because you don't think it's only like 2 months of time. And then you get in this house. So that makes all the sense in the world. She had to deal with it in her own way, and as did I.
Appreciate you sharing that. Thank you, Greg. Now, Millie, obviously you've been listening patiently. I saw your, your face never lie. Okay, all right. You wear expressions on your face because you're a Cancer. I can tell. You know what I mean? But no, Millie. Obviously, I saw you kind of react to a few things that Greg had kind of said. What was kind of going through your mind as you were hearing Greg kind of sharing parts of his story, and what was kind of speaking to you in what he was saying? And it sounded like it felt like you had some additions, or maybe you had some,
No, not really. He was speaking his truth. And that was like my number one thing with Greg. It's just like when Greg and I were talking in our talking stage, it was all fun and games. And this is what he did with every girl. We're just laughing and joking. And as I said on the show, I said, I haven't seen a serious side to him yet. And that's the side that I'm waiting for, something really organic, something genuine. I've had so many guys smiling in my face and ready just to use me for what they wanted to use me for. But I don't want that anymore. Like, I'm hard to get. I'm a woman that's really hard to get. So if you get me, you better hold on to me. Like, that's all I'm gonna say. He did the, oh my God, Greg is amazing. Like, but I don't want to be the guinea pig. I don't want to be the person like, you want to settle down just now. Now you're ready. You were just doing you last week. Now, since you finally met me, I'm everything that damn, she's great. I thought it probably would have been worse. Now you find out I'm great. I'm going to put you through it because I want to know if it's real on my end now. Like, now it's okay on your end. Like, you can deal with me, but I wanted to know. I needed to do my test. Like, men put women through tests. I put men through tests as well. You have to pass the test of why I should let my guard all the way down. What's the reason? All we do is joke and you flirt, you like a picture. All right, I want to hear something different. I want to hear what you have to offer me in a relationship as a husband, something that he knows that I want, even though we were working at those things. I'm not hating on Greg. He just wasn't ready. I wanted someone ready in that moment, how my brain was. I want to buy a house. I want kids. I want everything right now. In his mind, he's like, I just got out of the dating world. And I wanted a lot when I met Greg, and Greg knows this too. But he was up for the challenge, and that's what I respected about Greg, is that he was just like, okay, well, this is another test I have to do with, like, I usually pass all the tests for a woman. Let's see if I can pass the test with Millie. Like, I'm just a hard cookie to crack. Like, it's just, and I do that because I try to protect myself, because I've had men that literally would tell me all the things they would do, and they would tell me this great story, but it wouldn't come true. It didn't come to fruition. I can talk to you for 4 years and nothing really truly happened. And I'm not here to waste any more time. And Greg knew this, which is kind of like, that's intimidating. That's like, oh my God, that's overwhelming for a person to think about, like, oh, she wants this and I have to do this and that. And he probably hasn't had girls pressing him. I don't think Greg has had girls like me pressing him. Like, no, this is what I want. I'm very transparent. I know exactly what I want. And that might scare some men, but not the man that really wants me. He should want exactly what I want at the time that I want it.
And I love that you said something really interesting, which is quite intriguing, and you kind of touched on it towards there, but I would love to be able to expand a bit more on that. Obviously, you know, testing someone, you know, that for me, which I understand why, but that for me, as someone when we're testing somebody, that is from a closed heart posture rather than an open one, right? Because once I start testing you, I'm putting hurdles in your way to see how you're gonna handle it. And it sounds great, but actually, all it does is it actually creates more barriers between myself and another person, right? Right. So I want to know from your perspective, help us to understand your mindset, the testing. Why did you develop that mindset of I gotta test you, because someone would say that when we test, it actually becomes a form of manipulation in a sense. So why for you was testing the behavior that we were working with? What was going on that you had to start testing necessary, Greg or any other guy?
Yeah, I have
When
a
it comes to
question for you
relationships.
though, Kojo. I have a question for you. So, what's the number one thing that men want from women?
Now, I
No, I'm just be
mean,
real. Let's be real. Let's be real. Let's put it straight out there. Let's just stop being fake. Like, be real. What's the number one thing that men want from women?
I want a
Because they
Bible
think
study
they should
partner.
just, yeah. If I find you
No,
attractive, they think.
sex is it's a
There you
big thing.
go.
Yeah.
Perfect. Men think about sex when they see you. That's it. But I want a man that sees me here. He had to work on that, right? Just like he didn't know my birthday. And then, like, come on, small things to me matter. That's not a test. That's you should know that, right? Right? Being a guy that fucks with me, you want to get in my pants at least on my damn birthday? Like, stop it, coach. See,
We didn't.
exactly. And now Greg knows that now, right? He's trying to pass all the tests, and he was mad he was getting the room. Like, damn, I'm the doghouse. I was almost there. You know what's so crazy? I'm gonna put this out there. Okay, the reason why it took long for Greg and I to get in the boom boom room is because there was a rumor going around like the first night talking about Greg said that he's trying to get you in the boom boom room, and you like literally the girls would come to me and like, oh, everyone's saying that Greg said he's gonna go to the boom boom room with you like today or tomorrow or something like that. I'm like, who is saying all these rumors? Like, why are people starting? They're trying to start things with me and Greg. So I had to confront Greg about this. And he was just like, people were just talking. We just had a conversation about it. And I said, like, possibly we'll probably get in there. Like, it wasn't that big of a deal. But I was like, everybody wants my coochie. Bro, what? Nobody wants to listen to me, but everyone wants to fuck me. I'm tired of that. I'm just as tired of guys that just want to just fuck me. I needed to understand, like, if I get into the situation, it needs to be for the right reasons. Like, that's it. That's all. If that's fair, and that's fair. Someone that actually loves me mentally. And then he showed that over time. Right?
So before I let Greg jump in, I know he wants to answer. So I totally get it. Listen, I'm not opposed to saying, that there are going to be that men are going to want sex. Listen, we are not going to deny that as a fact, right? And whatever the men do, they do. But that's what I was saying. The test part is what I was looking at. I wanted to know, even if men only come with, like, for instance, okay, it's like when men might say, well, women only come for my money, right? But if I'm always testing someone, I'm actually creating distance for them. So testing someone, I'm putting them through hoops. That means I'm in a place where my vulnerability is closed. I'm not open, I'm
Yeah.
closed. And that's what I wanted to highlight, because I get it. There are men out there who will come and just, come and take. Okay. But like I said, I was wanting to highlight that the testing part does become
I just
an
think
issue for.
protecting my vagina is important to me. I don't want just anyone fucking me, right? So if that's wrong for protecting my vagina, because people are on the show, like the producers wanted us to have sex the first night. They're like, y'all should just go. They like even like forced Greg to kiss me too. They're like, y'all need to start kissing. We need to see something because I know y'all like each other, but like they were forcing us to like get there faster. And I wasn't ready yet. I'm like, I like Greg. Let Greg call me beautiful or something. Can just someone tell Greg to call me pretty or your butt's fat, something like that gets me started. I don't know. You get what I'm saying? It's just like it's not organic. That's the number one thing. It's not organic. Let him do it by himself. I want to see what Greg is made of. Like do what makes Greg happy. Say what makes Greg happy to me. What you want to say to me, I want to see. I want to feel it. I want to see everything. Everything you spoke about on the phone, I want to see it in the real life right now. Don't be nervous. And I just think it was just nervousness. That's probably what it was. But And there's cameras in her face. I have to remember that. There's cameras in her face. It was awkward. Everything is so awkward, you know. So
she saw the audience, man. Craig Mack in that ear in that jacuzzi, man, kicking that flavor in there. But yeah,
you were talking shit about the house. That's a lie, Greg. You was talking shit about the house and then you wanted to kiss me. That didn't make any sense.
You know what you can prove,
you were
man.
Talking
here, man. You know, hey, she brings up a good point, and that's what that was all truth right there, Kojo. And like I said, it's not, production doesn't control me, but I think they did see, and they know a swan from a duck, not to sound presumptuous. They look around it. So when's the night? You saw me on that first day when they had the domestic disturbance, unfortunately. I was grabbing that champagne to go in the jacuzzi with Mills. I was taking that just to kind of see, and I didn't. If it opened, I would have kissed her and stuff too. But I had a couple. I'm like, man, they know what time it is. Are you gonna be on demon time? You're gonna get it. And then we were having a good time, but I think I could have led with some organic stuff.
Thank you.
I probably hold cards a little close to my chest as far as I'm like, she already knows she's beautiful. She knows that. And then some of those kind of err in my ways, not to say I'm a villain, Kojo, but I'm like, I ain't gonna tell her that because she already knows that. And I thought I can kind of proceed, and you know, a mere miss. Things happen. I still got one, but I misread the situation. So when we were shooting pool, it's just guy talk, right? And sometimes I was like, Mills, I would tell you straight up, but mind you, you know, you only kind of know me from the phone and everything too. And she just asked. She wasn't really pressing me, but I'm like, they're talking about the boom boom room and shit. You ain't never heard me say that, so please just ignore the outside noise when it gets there to the room. Talking about Gregg's trying to go up in the room, because mind you, I never brought up sex in that house to Millicent. I'd only been truthful just if she'd asked about some of my escapades or the previous woman and what went wrong with that. But in that house, I never brought it up. I did bring up one time, I think I said, hey, they got an intimacy suite, because they said that when we were looking out the window. And I'm thinking ... And obviously she can figure out what that meant. But apart from actual word sex and stuff, I wasn't trying to do that. Of course, it's the goal, man. You know what I'm saying? But is it the end-all, be-all goal? No. And I'm glad it didn't happen night one and all that other shit, to her point and stuff like that, and actually get to know each other.
A woman with some substance. I got stuff to lose. I can't just be out here effing on screen like that's my my life depends on it. No, that's not me. Like, no.
Can I ask you a question, Millicent? And Kojo, I'm sorry to interrupt, brother. I know you do your job. But I think this is profound, Millicent. I think both sides have a point, but you said protecting coochie, and I get that, right? But what about kind of protecting this here and stuff? Because I feel like, and we've talked about this, of course, as time has elapsed, but I'm like, I'm trying to be there for you. You see so many instances, right, where it's like, oh, don't just hold me, grab me, do this, comfort me, and your boy did that to a T, as good as anyone could do it. And then the next instance is like, you know, I don't need this. I don't need no, you know what, man. And I can kind of read through that, but it's like, as a guy, you know, like I said, babe, I'm pretty good, but I'm walking on water. So it's one of those things. I feel like it kind of went misconstrued. I am trying to get here more than you thought, or what you were thinking at the time, you know?
Honestly, I didn't think
I remembered everything else about you. Tell me I didn't. The birthday thing.
I didn't think you were there listening to me, because they made me talk to you again about it. Like, they made me start and then I had to redo it again of saying everything. So I sound jaded. I just sound like I'm just repeating myself, and I just sound drained and I'm crying. Like, honestly, we were drinking all day. So from that moment, me sitting there, it's just kind of like, yes, emotions came down on me of why this is like what after the Chris situation, right? Why do you act like that? Why are you yelling? And da, 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 da. Like, because I'm tired of being used, you know? Yes, obviously you want someone to be attracted to you mentally for sure. And you were, right? I think you were, right? But that took time, because that wasn't your initial thing. You didn't want that initially. You wanted other things. And you were honest with me, Greg. You always said to me, you know, it was about looks. Now it's about like knowing who you truly are. And then you found out like, oh, this is not a girl that's just full of crap, or another LA type girl, because I'm not at all.
So. What was it first when you looked in my eyes? I guess I never asked to this day. Is it the looks or both? I know, you know, so it's like initially.
You were handsome. That's it. You're a handsome guy. You were genuine. I don't know. I just feel like when guys like they leave comments, sometimes I feel like it's genuine, especially there's a comment that you left one time that you gave me that had nothing to do with what I looked like or anything. Like, I think it said something like, I see you. Like, I see you. You said something, I don't know, something like that, to that nature. I don't know. You said something like that. And I'm like, oh, that's sweet. Like, you know, said something that was really ignorant for who to speak. So I was just like, you know what, Greg's cool. Like, you know, it's not like Greg likes me because of what I look like. He actually thinks I'm a dope person, just period. So I think he said something in that nature, but that made me feel like, okay, that's cool. This guy actually just sees me for who I am and not just like Instagram. That's it's corny. Instagram is whack. Like most of these girls don't even look the same in person.
It took time and Kojo to fill you in. Thanks, Millie, for saying that. It was about her pufferfish, saltwater Clifford. I think I said something. Just you look at them stories.
It was my pufferfish. I think you said something about Clifford. Yeah.
Yeah, Kojo, you know this as a brother, and not even bring gender in, man. Not to get off track. You can see every picture of her looking fine in a bikini, this and the third, and that's well and good. But what about something she likes? She's at an eatery or there's a food plate. Let's comment on that, or something that she was you like them petting zoos, you with them chickens and turkeys. I think I said something like that. And I've always been smooth, but 10 years ago would have been just something about probably the bathing suit, you know. So it's like that creates conversation and rhetoric of dialogue, right? So I think that's I'm glad I took that approach, I guess, you know what I'm saying?
Thank you for talking about animals. I love animals, so yeah, you paid attention to something.
You just don't like dogs, huh?
Meow.
Okay. You know what? I'm in a new season. I'm in a new season where when I see the river flowing, I don't stop where the river's going. You know what I'm saying to you? Where I see the river flowing, I don't stop where it's going. So I'm not going to do my usual questioning. I want to understand what the heck I'm seeing in front of me right now. Because from the beginning of this interview, it's felt like you two need to talk about something. So I don't mind taking a seat back. Because clearly y'all need to get some stuff off your chest. This is the space to do it because y'all need to talk about something. It's clear. It's evident. What is it that you two want to get off your chest? Because I can see that you guys are talking and it's almost as if we're teetering on the edge of there are things that we want to say, but we ain't really saying. There's a little bit, someone said it was a little bit flirting in there too. But I feel like there's a conversation that wants to be had, but isn't being had. So I don't want to dictate the conversation anymore. What is it that you two actually want to discuss with each other? I feel like there's something that hasn't almost been said. You know what I mean? Like, you know, Greg, since you're the man, you know what I mean? Let me bring gender into it. You're the man, so I'm going to let you lead. What is it that you really want to say to Millie at this point? Because I feel like there's something that hasn't been said. So talk to me. Talk to Millie. What is it that you needed to say to her?
I don't appreciate that. And as a man, I was going to just go for it because I know she appreciates that too. It's so funny you said that, man. We're so similar, Millicent Reed and myself. I'm telling you, it's like vanity. I see a lot of myself, and I think vice versa. We're very bullheaded sometimes, I think, especially her ass more than me. But she still cares, you know. If you can break down those walls, you can kind of get to the interior of her like a pomegranate or something like that hard exterior. And we haven't had this rhetoric, and it's one of those things to truthfully answer your question, tell our fans and supporters that who's going to make the call first? You know, at least maybe that's how I was looking at it. I know it's out of sight, out of mind and everything like that. I still cared for the woman. But I know I needed that time to kind of progress and decipher some of the things and what went awry. And I just couldn't get up the gumption, I guess, to call her. But mind you, anytime I ever did, she answers, of course. And I didn't expect anything else, but you just know. And as time goes by, it's kind of like how with my family, not to get off that. Like, I know they love me and I love them, but some of those calls don't come as frequent as they used to. So I'm looking at this and I'm talking to Millicent directly to you. Like I said the other day, I think the best me, the best us. I don't really think there's any better match, quite frankly. And it's not about trying to put her on the hook or so much earn her affection back. I never lost it, not truly. I just deviated from my purpose and the plan because it was a joint kind of break, so to speak. But I think I led on that. And to her credit, I never told her this, Kojo. Sometimes, brother, if you say you kind of need a break, then you need a break. And you're not just going to ingratiate, get back, earn her favor just like that. Because obviously, if you needed some time, we're not at this big grown age. We're not 20 trying to break up to make up and do all that shit that's going to confuse our minds even more. You look at what she's looking at and vice versa, and just how we are, you know, we're not going to be free agents for long. I say that humbly speaking. So I'm just saying this directly to you. Once I've been on the plan to get everything going for me and myself first and foremost, because I can't help you. It's like the airplane, baby girl. They say you got to put your mask on first, right? I cannot help you unless I do that first. So once I've got everything, got my ducks in a row, which I have been, head down grinding, definite possibility we'll work our way back in each other's lives. And if all goes according to plan, I won't have to be the one that has to make that call. I think she'll see that better than I know.
I just want you to make it very 100% clear. I don't want to read between the lines. What are you saying, Greg? I just want to make it 100% clear. I don't want any confusion. What are you saying, Greg?
I said, stay open, Millicent. Stay open, man, because I'm coming. And I know where I want to go. I know what life I have for us. It's not just idle talk. I wouldn't say that then if I wasn't going to act on it. I'm on the job now, and I'm happy to do so. This is the next iteration of us, so to speak, and this is where we're going. So just wait for me. As I said the other day, and it's not going to be long or anything like that, but just anything worth having is worth kind of building too. You know what I'm saying? Very few times you just kind of walk in a situation that's picture perfect. And is it ever? You know, you kind of want to kind of go through these things, but I know where I kind of went wrong. And when you left that night and it was raining, it was terrible. And
tell them how we broke up. Tell them the whole truth of how how did we break up? Tell them Benihana's. Tell them the most pettiest. It wasn't like because I called you out your name and I didn't do nothing. Tell them what happened, why we broke up.
So we had a good, perfect date night, grandiose evening. Regardless of the restaurant, I've never been to Benihana's, never did that. It was fun. We was drinking, sharing the tables, this, that, and the third. Lemon drop Millie, I think she had one too many, but that's beside the point. She was feeding the damn bartender, just tipping his ass, tricking dollars to his. Mind you, if I did that, would have been World War
$20 each drink. I was tipping the bartender because it was that.
So I'm kind of petty. It's not a man. He's got it, Millicent, and that's Kojo knows this too. It's not about not having it. It's about the purpose and principles. I'm not trying to be funny with the big worm. Principalities in this. I'm going to get your nails done, baby. Maybe I'd like it to be my idea, just like I did it the last time. But if we just had a sublime evening, I know it's a trivial subject. Why are we bringing this up at 2 a.m, this, that, and the third, and kind of pressing me about it? And I know there's liquor involved and everything. And I should have been enough just to diffuse it or just because usually when she get like that, I'm not about to listen. Babe, we're going to sleep. We talk about this bullshit in the morning. And it would have blown over in the morning, much like that. So as a man, that's why I could have done that. Obviously, it goes 50-50. But you see how that goes? You can lose something that you wanted and that you wanted to build for something as minor and trivial as that, because you got to have the fortitude to want to get back together. And when she went out, she never called me out of my name, and I never do that. We never had that. We argued because we're both.
And who started the argument though? And who actually was saying really mean stuff? Who started? Hey, I didn't even. It was Gregg, and people expect me. Oh, Millie probably cursed him out, and she did. It wasn't me. It was Gregg.
I think there's a lot of pent-up aggression, and I'll take that on, so to speak. And I guess she had it coming, but so many other times it's much to do about nothing, and didn't have to go that way. So I swear that broke my heart, man. And for whatever that was when it was raining.
Just because I asked to get my nails done.
I looked at Coach. Hey, I'll be humorous. You gave that damn bartender north of $100 to pay for that shit. I think I told her that straight there. I said, go get that money back from his ass.
So I hear that. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, you see, so I'm just like, it's the timing of it. And I mind you, she's having a good time. It's just, why are you bringing this up now to me?
I asked my man to get my nails done. But I asked you earlier.
What did it mean for you, Greg? You see, it is not the action. What did it mean for you when she said? Because I know you weren't pissed about the nail situation per se, but it's what it really meant for you. What applied meaning did you have for her asking the nails? What did it mean to you, bro?
She just started her new job and everything. I think she was a little stressed. Mind you, she liked it, but just getting in that workflow and everything, it's a lot. You know what I'm saying? What was that, Mills? Wasn't that like the second? That was the first weekend or something?
But I had money already, Greg. We had money already. We were fine. It had nothing. I started the job perfectly though. After a couple months of the show.
But I would have done the nail.
Probably paid only 3 months of my rent, but I was fine though. You know that.
But
my thing is me asking you to get my nails done is a girl thing. It's just like I should be able at any moment to be like, babe, I do want to get my nails done. And I actually said it earlier to you too. I'm just trying to remind you, and that irked your nerves. You're like, we just went to Benihana's, and I'm not used to that. Like honestly, like maybe it was probably the caliber of men that I'm with. Like I'm just used to asking for something and I should just get it, right? But with Gregg, it's different, right? So Gregg is just like, you gotta 5 to 7 business days. Like, I need some
I
time.
like
He could
that.
have said it. He could have said it any other way. He could have been like, babe, okay, we'll talk about it in the morning. Like, he could have did that. But like the way he went off. And that I couldn't stay because I knew it would have never been a good night for us. I left in the rain and I just drove home and we didn't talk since. It's been 2 years. Like, you know,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was a bad beat, man. And I think back.
It was bad. It was bad. Like, I didn't expect it to go like that. We could have definitely had a different experience for sure. If I never asked for my nails to get done, he would eventually yell at me some other time when he was ready to do it, right? So
I just had to stand up on
that.
stand up on the principle thing, and like I said, I know it's trivial. It's just the timing of it as what I felt like. You know, I was like, man, why is this? We're about to go to bed, and you've hounding me about this.
I wasn't hounding. I was just saying what I wanted. Yes.
At 2 a.m. in the morning?
That's what I'm saying. You know what you should be doing at 2 a.m.
Because I know that I'm gonna go home eventually, which I love being home, and he knows how much I love.
And I usually follow your ass right home, as it always went. You stayed there, and then I end up over on North Hollywood. We would have got them damn nails.
We live so far, Kojo. Like, we live so far from each other. It's like an hour drive. I drove like an hour in the rain. It was so pointless, the argument. It didn't make any sense. But I just like, so we just needed a break, and we just took a break after that. It was a little embarrassing, honestly, for him on his behalf and mine. So it was embarrassing. It's like the dumbest argument or whatever. And I mean, he spoke to my sister a couple times about it, but then I was just like, I didn't even have time to heal from relationships. I didn't even have time to heal. That's what in my mind I'm just thinking about. I didn't have time for me. So I just use that time, that break. Like, it's just for me. Like, I need to get me right. Like, I need to focus on Millicent. She's really important right now. And then I went to go get my nails done the next day. Not really a big deal, but it was just the principle for him and the principle for me on my standard, my preference.
So before you guys answer another question from each other, I really need you guys to explain what the other person's behavior actually means for you. Because what I'm hearing right now is I asked for my nails to be done at 2 a.m., but I told you earlier on, so I'm saying it to you at 2 a.m. I'm hearing, hey, it's a principle. I stand on principle. But I'm really not hearing what you felt the other person's behavior actually meant, because that's actually why there's an actual argument. It's not actually about the nails being asked at 2 a.m. It's the applied meaning that, Greg, you're applying to it. And also, Millie, it's your applied meaning as to him saying he's standing on principle. He ain't going to do it right now, or he ain't going to, he wants 5 to 7 business days. You've applied a meaning to the other person's behavior. So until you actually answer what the applied meaning is, you're going to have another argument, which won't be about nails, but about something else if you decide to get back together again, and you'll go round again.
This is what I was trying to convey. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong. Two things can be true at once, and that's just the God honest truth. If I kind of fold like this, and this wasn't a game, Millicent just said 2 minutes ago she's used to kind of getting that. And that's well and good. I'm not casting aspersions on some of them other guys. Like I said, I'm not broke by any means, but I'm not rich yet or anything like that. So there's metrics and levels to every damn thing. So that's what I'm saying. Just because you know you can get it, that doesn't, I feel like, give you the right to just kind of press for it. Just like how I knew 20 minutes ago that I can go G off and get the skins and take Shorty down because I'm a smooth talker. Does that really give me the right? That's how I looked at it. You know, it's not me trying to puff my chest at her. It's just like, why here and now at this moment after we just had a grand evening?
That's just who I am.
Dinner price, that's irrelevant or mute. It's just like, I thought we had a great night. That wouldn't be on my mind right then and there. That's just regardless of gender. So that's why I couldn't get down.
What was on your mind right there at 2 a.m., Greg?
And if it was, we weren't even talking about sex. Probably some damn sleep. We just would have covered.
It was sex. You wanted some sex.
So. After you brought up the nail shit, I'm like, I need return for this investment just because that's when we've been petty at that thing. But I remember that night being a little different. And I guess, man, I apologize if 4 or 5 lemon drops didn't do the trick. I'm like, God,
I mean, you did apologize to me, so I'm not gonna ever bash you or ever I'm not ever going to make you feel any type of way because that was a moment that you weren't at your best, but you're always at your best. I didn't want to, I just accept your apology. I just let it go. But we just needed that break. You needed the break for yourself and I needed a break for myself. So that's that. But I just wanted to remember you. Like how I see you is how I want to remember you. And I don't want to ever remember that other side of Greg. Like, come on, you don't want to see that side of me. And that's a part of me. Like when I respect someone, I'm never going to call you out your name, Greg. I'm never gonna disrespect you. You already know that. And I didn't this whole time. I might have did it in different ways. That was a little passive and annoying. Like you're asking me to get your nails done at 2 o'clock in the morning, girl. Bye. But what I'm used to is I'm used to men saying, "Okay, babe, I'll talk to you in the morning. Okay, babe, well, we'll decide. I'll see. I'll do it on Friday. Give me a day." So you could have said something, but you chose to say like, "Why are you asking about that right now? Didn't we just have a good dinner?" Like I'm just like, it's not that. In my mind, I'm just like, babe, it's not that serious. It's the delivery. Maybe my delivery was a little off at the wrong time. Like your delivery was
very
completely
off. Yeah.
Unvalid, like it was bad, like so you were just frustrated. You were very frustrated at that night, like you were just so frustrated. It probably could have been work, it could have been your own life, it could have been other issues, but kind of projected out on me a little bit. I just feel like, but that's all.
It was probably
Before you answer, Greg, I need you to tell her the truth. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I mean, I rip band-aids off. Tell her the truth, because you need to tell the truth of what you actually were thinking. And Millie needs to be ready to be hear this, because if he doesn't tell you the truth, you're gonna be back here again. You know what I'm saying? Since y'all took me down this route of the river, we gonna rip the band-aid off. Okay, Greg, tell her the damn truth. Because in that moment, there was something that you were feeling. That is why you resisted the fact that she said about the nails, and it turns into an argument the way it did, and the way you went off on her is because there was something that you've implied in that situation. So tell the truth. What is it really that you're feeling in that moment when she asked for the nails at 2 a.m.? And Millie's going to also tell the truth, because she also not telling the truth about why she asked for nails at 2 a.m. in the morning. Okay, all right. She needs to tell the truth about why she's asking for that too. So tell the truth, bro. What is it specifically that you were thinking and feeling about Millie and her asking for nails at 2 a.m. in the morning? What were you really thinking, Greg?
Fuck it. Shit, I thought I was about to get in that birthday suit and I was going to start bullying your shit straight up just like that, man. But that wasn't the main thing. Of course, that was in the nigga's mind, part of my tone. It still was the principle first, then that. I'm like, just how she was asking. Now, I could have reassessed it. Like I said, we were both drinking a little bit too, because these aren't episodes that she had. I got to say this, Mills, and I'll be very brief, and I'll be somewhat terse. Kojo, just because you've seen some of the bad moments, I know we all had them on the screen. I'm talking to the audience and our supporters now. Mills she didn't cut up with me like that because we didn't have that dynamic. And like you said, not to hold Chris or anything, he just didn't do it for her, and how his mindset set her on edge. So that was the first time we really had contention like that. We argue and bicker about shit all the time, but that's much to do about nothing. This one, I felt like I just really had to stand on. I probably was sexually frustrated and everything at that moment, just because I'm like, man, we had a good night. You over there talking to that fucking bartender and shit. And maybe some of the bravado, because I'm like, let me have done that, I would have never heard the end of it from your ass. But it was just like, knowing me any other time I would have handled that, like, babe, I was like, shit, take your ass to bed. We're going to bed, and we'll go tomorrow. Because every time we always went out to date, she goes back home or I go my way. Then we go like the mall or something, get breakfast, and then we go to each other's spot. I would have taken the nails then. I just kind of blew over like a kettle just because I just didn't like her energy with that.
So is it the way that is it so principle? What's the principle here? Was it the way that she asked? Was it the way that she asked for the nails?
It's the way that she asked, and the way that she wasn't doing. I ripping my jeans off, I guess, at the time.
Exactly. We did not have sex. That's the problem, and that's what he wanted to do. We did other things, of course, but we just never had sex, and that was like his number one thing. So as long as I kept sex away from him, maybe Greg would just, love me
I
more.
wanted you to think I did.
Respect me more. I'm all about respect. You have to respect my body. You have to respect my mind. You have to respect my time, because I've wasted my time. Obviously, single again, right? I'm not wasting any more time. So that's okay for me to do that. I am sexually attracted to him, obviously. But there's more to life than that, especially with a person like me. I'm sorry, I'm not fast. I'm very, very slow. I don't want anyone touching me that doesn't deserve to. And that's okay. And I can sleep over there. I could be all in my birthday suit, and I expect you not to touch me. I should be able to trust you. I should be able to be myself, right? No matter what. And obviously, we were going to get there, but obviously, he cracked. And I guess that's the test that everyone's like, oh, the testing that Millie does for men. Like, she tests them. I don't care. Like, this is mine. This is mine. It's healthy. It's beautiful. Why would I just give it away like that? And I have a beautiful brain, too. Just work on the brain part, I don't think that's a problem. I love Greg. I still love Greg now. Like, I still have feelings for Greg, but there was tests that I needed to pass from him. You know, I passed
So
a lot of
you were
tests
you
with
were
Greg.
testing him.
Greg was testing me too. And if he can be honest about that, he will be honest. Yes, he was vulnerable, but it took time for him to break down those walls to get away from sex and just the idea of like, you get what I'm saying? It's never was. And the thing is this: it was never hard for Greg to fuck any girl, and that's how he went on the show. He told me he fucked someone literally a week before he came to the show. He was very transparent and honest with me. So why would I sit here and open my legs when a man just told me he was just fucking a girl the week before? And I had to just take that because he was being transparent. I didn't want to bash him. Like, why would I just give it up like that? And it's the truth. It's just the truth for being transparent. And I'm gonna be honest. Like, I still care about Greg, but I wanted him to learn a lesson when it comes to women. You have to get to know. I'm sure it's different for Greg now. He told me it's different for him now. He's not the same Greg, Kojo. Ask him the question, like, how are you now dating? Like,
He
I
really
was the
isn't the
person
same
that broke
Greg.
him into learning about real women and how to treat them. It was me. I was
Now,
the one.
before you answer anything, Greg, I just want to just highlight something because you know I'm gonna get on Greg, but I'm gonna get on you too, Millie. You were doing the exact same thing you did to Chris, that you just did to him. It is the same energy. I am not the one. I'm gonna show you what it is. You're doing the exact same thing here in a relationship, right? Now, Greg, you didn't check this in the show. We didn't see that. You getting the same energy you got on the show. It's the same thing. You doing the exact same thing you were doing on the show, Millie, right? Because it's not just a test anymore. Now it's like I've got to teach him a lesson. So you got two people who are in here in this relationship who are scared to be vulnerable and really tell the truth about what they're really doing. And so what we're having is we're bashing against each other because we're not actually being honest about what we're really our intentions are. We're both scared to really be open and vulnerable. But Millie, you were teaching him a lesson. It's the same thing you did to Chris. So do you see how it doesn't have to be Chris? Even if it's somebody you like, you're going to do the exact same behavior. Because what you do out there, you'll do it inside. It's a practice learned behavior of protection for yourself, right? There's no beef. It's just the reality of the situation. The nails were not about the nails. You were pushing him. If you think you're going to get some cat, okay, well, I'm going to take you for your money. What you saying? Let's see if he really wants me. Let's see if he really wants it.
That's
You know
not
what I'm
true
saying?
because
Okay.
Greg and I had nothing to do with money, honestly. So it was more about like,
Yeah, I don't think you
you
want
know,
his money like
I
that.
was ready just to do my life the way it is, and he do his and figure it out. He knew exactly the intangibles, the things that I actually wanted from my relationship. My next relationship should be my last relationship, which I told him. Like I told him all. He knew. Millie wants to buy a house. She wants kids to actually buy this year and next year. It's overwhelming. Let's be honest. But that's the truth, though. It's not me lying. It's not that's not the test. That's actually the truth to see if you are actually physically ready for what I am ready for. That's not my fault if someone's not ready in that moment for what I'm ready for. Maybe not mentally, because when I'm looking at how I was acting, I didn't even heal yet. Maybe I wasn't really ready for marriage at that moment. But I'm just saying it's something that I wanted eventually between that time, if after I seeked help.
So for you, Millie, what was the applied meaning of 2 a.m. asking for nails? What is the applied? Just so we're clear and Greg knows where he is. What is the applied meaning that you attached to 2 a.m. asking him for nails?
Okay, I'm really big on, are you going to have my back when I don't have it? Right? That's the test. Like, I wanted to know if I'm going to be with this guy, put my whole life in his hands, right? He has to be able to operate. He has to be able to tell me, like, babe, I want to see how he's gonna talk to me. I'm gonna see how he's going to react. And this is what men do to women. Let's just be honest. They want to see how we're going to react to certain things. I gotta test her. I gotta see how she'll react to that. And then I wanted to see how he would react to not getting sex, to not really getting what he actually wanted. We did other things. I don't want to act like people like, oh, we just let him do. That's not the point. I like Greg, but why do I need to sleep with anybody? Like, I just don't have to. I'm not going to.
So you're saying that you didn't really trust his intentions, that he just wanted,
There you go.
if
Because
it,
of
if
what
it
he
come down to the
told
crutch.
me. This is a man. He's a great man, right? There's a great man under the fact that he has multiple women. He's dating multiple women, right? Even before him, he was dating me and other women, is what I'm trying to say, right? And I was dating other men, obviously. I was in a whole relationship, right? But I'm just saying this is a man that is used to getting what he wants without having to do any work. And that is weird for me. Like, you don't do any work, but you said you didn't have to do work. And this is what you told me, Greg. You never had to do work. You never had to do any work. No, you did say that.
You do a lot of listening, man. She's
So
good.
Millie obviously said what she said. Do you want to respond, Greg? And then we.
Oh yeah, it's really no rebuttal. It's just she's got valid points. Not to belabor the point, it's not all I wanted, of course. And like I said, I think it's a good little test if that's what it was, because I can kind of get that. And I folded, and but sometimes those things happen, and just I just want to say I'm sorry again, Millicent. I know we're both culpable, but like just the scene, it was raining, arguing with the neighbors, horns honking. It was like a damn movie set, man.
It was bad.
She left Kojo, and I didn't run out after her, man, and I got to live with.
Why didn't you run? Why didn't you run after her? I'm not saying you should have, but why didn't you?
He did. He went outside to let the gate open because I couldn't get out the gate.
Yeah, but I should have got in that car, and and this long night, she mid drive blocking me from Instagram, making calls to those in Miami and stuff. I'm like, it's and I thought we didn't talk for a minute. Like I said, this is what we're saying, the same, and we got to swallow our pride. I really felt like, fuck the central part or anything, Coach. It's just like, God, who's gonna make the first move and apologize and be the bigger person? And I don't know, Mills, was it like maybe a week or maybe 4 days, probably 4 days, 3 or 4 days, and then I know I called, but that's just the thing. It doesn't matter, because as soon as I call, she answers. So it's just like you don't get brownie points for, oh, I was the first person to do it, because life is so short and tomorrow's never promised today. So I would have just felt terrible. Mind you, if we never got back on the same accord, but you just want to do right by people that you love, man. Do right by anybody, and if you can amend and vindicate that situation, why not? So, of course, we got to talking, but it was kind of apparent that, that was a bad beat and everything like that. And I don't know.
Let me just say.
As a man, that's where, as a man, I don't mind taking that. I got to do that, and I will every fucking time. You know what I'm saying? So, and then she got to apologizing for things, some of the transgressions that she thought that she could have handled better. But like I said, I'll set the tone. That's the very first thing I think I told her, so I can lead and everything. But sometimes, like I said, I hate to take it here, and I'm old boy catch a stray. It's like old school Aaron. You know what I'm saying? How about you do right the first damn time? You know what I'm saying? So then you don't have to come back for some Herculean effort with your girl talking about Hercules. Good job, Aaron. Because anytime it looked like they had something good, that's because he's apologizing for some stupid shit that he already soured. So why not just do it the first time? And that's usually the best way to go about it, man. Handle your business the first time, partner.
I respect that, Greg. I respect you. And yeah, I respect that.
I'm going to be honest with you too. If y'all don't get this part right, you are not going to make it. I'm just going to be honest with you. Because do you know what's really happening? Greg, you're going to fail that test every single time, right? Because one, if you're really aware of what's happening to you, you don't deal with emotions that well. So what's going to happen is every time she tries to test you, you're going to feel like she's manipulating you. And you're going to intentionally fail the test because you don't like to be controlled. Millie's going to keep on testing you because she doesn't trust you. It doesn't believe that you actually have a true intention towards her because you've got all women around you. And so she's going to consistently keep on testing your loyalty, whether you're faithful, whether you're loving, whether you really care about her. She's going to test you in all sorts of ways. And guess what's going to happen? You're going to consistently be butting heads because both parties don't want to be controlled. No, she doesn't want to give it the kitty cat because she's afraid that you're just going to be playing and not really being truthful about your intentions.
I'll be another number on it.
You might be another number, right? So what's going to happen is until you two actually decide to lower your defenses and someone decides that I'm going to drop the guard, this relationship will continually end up in this place every single time. So who's willing to drop the guard? Because if you're not willing to drop the guard, let's leave this relationship alone. It's just going to be carnage. So if one of you is willing to, it only takes one. Another person has to follow suit, right? And that person has to lead. And that person also has to be ready that no matter what happens, they're going to stay in a position of doing what's right and not what's right for them, but right for the relationship, right? So if no one's willing to do that, let's quit. Let's leave it alone, okay? I loved your confession, Greg. I loved it. Yeah, beautiful. But it's going to end in carnage if somebody doesn't take the lead and say, actually, I'm willing to take the higher road and that even though I can see this behavior from you, this is how I'm going to behave. I'm going to behave in love. Because right now what's happening is manipulation on both sides. It's like, I see you moving to me, I'm not going to let you move to me. I see you trying to make me work harder than what I really need to work harder. All right. Oh, you're trying to get rid of for the peace thing as well. Okay, the money thing. Okay, I'm going to let you know. I'm going to fail that test. You're not going to make me work hard and treat me like a trick almost and say, yeah, we're going to have it on both sides. You know what I'm saying to you? So who's willing to lower that guard? That's what I'm asking both of you. I'll let you choose who wants to talk about this. Who's lowering the guard?
Well, that's just the thing. I feel like I had, but the thing is, like I mentioned, why not do it correctly the first time? So, Mills, not to put you on the spot, I suppose I'm going to ask, and I feel like I already know your answer. It's like, it does hurt a little bit internally. It's like, do you trust me? I don't think I've ever asked you that. And obviously, I feel like the answer is yes, because we're vibing together and we're rocking together fully on.
Yeah.
But some of those tests, like I said, did they maybe have to be so kind of prevalent? I just want you to know it wasn't all about your body or anything like that, regardless of what you may have heard or some of the other ladies and stuff like that. But I get that you have to kind of keep your guard up a little bit. But I never treated you like that. I want you to think that I have your best interests, or to this day, I've never protected you. I feel like I've been damn good, and only because I want to, it's the right thing to do, because I love you, I value you. But it's like those small things, your boy is hitting on them a lot. The birthday thing, I dropped that, I messed that up. I very much did, and I own that. But we're not always gonna get everything. So there's the question.
And I shouldn't have to chastise you for that, right? And I get that, and I understand that. No one's perfect, and I think I was probably looking for you to be that for me, like a perfect guy, and you get what I'm saying? Like, you weren't the perfect I thought you could be at that moment, because like honestly, we just met each other, even though we didn't really talk about the things that we should talk about on the phone. Let's just be honest. And meeting each other, honestly, we weren't ready. Things that were really important to me wasn't important to you. Now that's a big issue. That small thing is important to me, but that to you, it's not that serious, right? But then you learned it is serious to Millie. So I have to work on those things to get to her. And actually, we could have been and did all that, but that would have been me being stupid and not really caring about myself. Because I really feel that some women they just hop dick to dick, and that ain't me. Like I just hopped on a dick in August, and I'm trying to just heal myself of whatever soul tie that I have with that person. Just jumping to the next one wouldn't really do me any justice. So yeah, but no, I hear you, Greg, and like I feel you. But like I honestly, I wasn't ready then. I mean, like even now I'm still dating, but I'm just focused on me as well. So I don't want you thinking like, oh, there could probably possibly be time for us in the future. I don't know, but I'm just saying like right now it's just like.
Do you trust me?
That's a good question to ask her.
Oh yeah.
Honestly,
sorry, I kind of jaded there. I'm sorry. Do I trust Greg? It's not that hard. Like there's parts of me that I don't know. Like now with my vagina, I trust you in other ways, if that makes sense. Like not just with my vagina. Like I don't honestly know who you fuck with for real. Like I don't really know, because like the way you talked about sex, like it was just something that you just do. Like, and I'm like, damn. Like you probably use condoms, like you said, but to me, that comes with soul ties, and I'm a person that thinks deeper into everything. Everyone that he slept with, you're gonna sleep with. You're attached to all these people. I don't know.
If you love someone, though, not to speak for you, right? Like I don't want to press on anybody's past and everything. I'm just more talking about when we're on in a good space. I hope that you trust.
Oh yeah, I definitely did trust you. Yeah, we definitely built that trust then. But what made me not trust you is after we had that argument and you said the things that you said in that moment. That kind of like made me think. And I was actually what you said had me mute, if you remember. Like
what did you say, Millie?
That's how you feel. I don't really remember word for word, but he was fed up. Like it's obvious.
General gist. Don't have to go specific. What was he kind of saying? That general gist that you now couldn't go.
He kicked me out too. Greg kicked me out. You can just leave. You can just kind of like Greg kicked me out of his place.
He said, Martin, Gina, get to step and bounce.
Get the step and get out. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh man, It's
If I'm
that's
giving up the coochie, you gotta get up out. You gotta get up out of here. I'm like, okay, I will leave. I'm definitely gonna do that. I have no problem going back to my place. So, okay.
it hurt me to do it, man. This shit I ain't talked about in years, you know, or thought about.
That's just the truth, though. And I remember how I felt in that moment. That's why I'm not really trying to. I'm trying to be present here, but I'm not trying to really live that again. It was more just like he just fed up, and I understand. I mean, after a couple of drinks, you start thinking about your life and what you want. If you feel like you're not getting what you think you're putting out so much that you should be getting something back, and but the only thing you want back is that thing. And yeah,
I just think if I never was truthful about it, it wouldn't have gotten to that. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want it just comes off like that's all a brother ever wanted, and that's such a fallacy. You know? And I can't tell you how to think.
it's not a fallacy.
And
It's not made up. It's not fake. Greg, we know, like you have been very transparent with me. You have said you you just said it here on here. You said like, well, you're looking for to get something out of something, like so
then, yeah, it's not all I wanted. We had so many good times in a short amount of time. At least I thought so.
yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
I did tell you. I did drop off that stuff on Valentine's Day, and I guess you got it. You didn't. I guess he was mad that I pulled up. You just can't be coming over out
You
like
pulled up at my crib unannounced, and then
It's like I lost that privilege.
yeah.
1 month away. I don't mind that. I guess you know what I'm saying. You got to be brazen and bold.
Yeah, but yeah, you apologized, Greg. I don't want to just, keep talking about this, but you apologized. So I mean, I then when you did it 4 days later or something, like I accepted your apologies. So that's that.
Let me ask a question. Greg, do you trust Millie? No, real spit. Do you trust Millie?
I do.
Hmm.
Look, right here, like that. I trust. Yes, I trust her, but I also trust that we're human beings and we're all gonna have hiccups. Absolutely. Because if I'm gonna accept the good, the bad has to come along with that. So I absolutely do. If you're asking me if there are things that she could do better, hell yeah, just like I could.
Of course.
From that, but
Of course.
all in. I didn't, like I said, from the mother perspective, not to beat that home or just even jump in a relationship if I didn't feel like that. There's no maintaining face when the show's over. This is something I was like, man, I really like and rock with this chick, man. And that was the scariest part about it because you knew it could happen, but you just didn't know. And you've had some of these instances before, and it's like, will I create a reason to kind of get out? You know what I'm saying? And maybe to a small extent, maybe that's ultimately what was the demise. But I think I'm a little more patient, and I was happy to go along the journey. So to answer your question, I absolutely do trust her. You know, really, she has my best interest.
Now,
I trust you
now,
then and now.
Greg, you
You're
still trust
never
me
gonna
after
hear.
all of this?
Oh, did he not trust you before, Millie? Did you not feel
I
like he
don't think.
trusted you?
I just think that Greg had an issue trusting women too. Like I just think that there was something that why he just wasn't so faithful to women. I just think that he had a trust issue. Like I didn't think he would like really trust women. Period. And to go from being this type of guy the week before until now, you're just full blown in this relationship with me. Everyone's gonna get dropped. It's all over for them. It's just that's diabolical. I'm sorry. That's just the big.
It's wild, but yeah.
What, sir? Like you can't play with me.
I
Like I
gotta
have
agree with her.
discernment. I'm
I was playing with
I
you though.
believe in God and I have discernment. So if my body feels something, it's just the truth.
Okay, that's a good point. Kojo, she asked because actually when we left the house, and I think I brought this up on another platform, she kind of asked, you know, yes, the show was real and everything, but that's still the show. Now we embark on our real lives outside that damn door where everything is truthfully real and no in between. So she asked if we're still together. And more so kind of just hinting like if I were going to reassert and establish that again, you know, and of course I had to affirm what I already know to be true, but I thought that was kind of a good question because it was real for me in the show just like it was for her. But now you're coming out of here based off what a brother had been telling you for weeks on hand and everything like that. Now you can really get hurt is what I'm saying. That show, as fun as we had, is just a show, and there's a lot of protection in those walls. Now when you come out to the real world, there's where the sharks and stuff. So I was happy to answer that, and whatever the answer I gave you was obviously truthful. So yeah. Thumbs up. I think you're muted. Kojo,
I'm
get us
muting
out of
because I don't
here.
want to
Segue.
talk over people. I have the tendency to talk over people. That's why I'm muting myself.
You know what? You two should probably go and research more attachment styles, because I'm seeing DA and I'm seeing FA. I can't lie to you. I'm seeing DA and FA. And listen, DA and FAs are beautiful. They got this beautiful spark. But the crux of both of these people is that the energy shifts so quickly, because as an FA, and I think this is me just saying from my perspective, right? I mean, this is my opinion. Okay, so this is not. I'm just a coach. I'm nobody's therapist. But from what I've seen from both of you, it's given FA and DA. And let me tell you why. Right, that Millie, you're very hyper vigilant on anything that he says that doesn't line up to be any type of truth. This is in alignment with any fearful avoidant. The moment there's any discrepancy in honesty, the FA uses it as a reason to leave the relationship. They're gonna bounce, because they need that consistency and they need truth. It helps them to stay in a place where they're like, you know what, I can trust what this person is saying to me, and because of what they've actually experienced as a past, this means this person actually is somebody who I can trust and bank on, right? But FAs also do a lot of testing, because they're trying to prove that the person in front of them is actually the right person for them, because they're afraid that if they date someone and they date somebody, right, that person may end up leaving them. One of the core wounds, right? But underpinning it all, the DA also has issues, right? They're not honest. I'm going to be honest with you, Greg, you're not honest. That's why I keep pressing you. When I say you're not honest, doesn't mean you're lying. It means you don't tell the full truth in the immediate moment. How you actually feel about something doesn't actually come out. And so when it doesn't come out at the right time, it waits for a moment, and then it builds up, it becomes a pylon, and then you release it. And when you release it, it comes out as almost a lash out, right? And then it comes out as it did that night with the nail stick. This is why I said the nail stick wasn't the issue. So what ends up happening is that now that lash out, she's like, oh, that's how you really feel. Oh, now the truth is here. I mean, I knew it already, but I'm just glad it came out now. I was telling you the whole entire time. And then she gets her, I knew it kind of moment, right? But the problem, the reality of the situation is, Greg, that's why it goes both ways. Do you trust her core in? And the reality is you don't, because you don't trust women in general. Why? Because as a dismissive avoidant, I'm telling you the truth that we don't, because our core wound is we don't trust people. And that's not mean that you're the only problem. That doesn't mean that at all. Please don't take it that way. What I'm saying is why we're going round in a circle and fighting each other is that, and I say fighting loosely while we're kind of disagreeing, is that until that part, trust is your biggest issue. Until that is resolved and the bridge is built of trust, and that requires someone again to lower their guard and do that, it's not going to happen, because every single time when she does something, you're going to perceive it as something else, which is why I asked you, what meaning did you have for this, what she said about the nail situation? Because it came from not the nails, it came from what you applied as a meaning to that action. And that usually goes in alignment with a storyline and a narrative. As DAs, as dismissive people, we tend to have a narrative, which is when people do stuff, we think they're being manipulative, because we don't like when people do certain things, which is why I said the testing was it's gonna piss you off. And as I said, if you're honest about it, it pisses you off because you see it and you know when it's coming, right? You've clocked you've clocked the testing. You know when she's doing the testing and when she's being real, and you had enough. But that is why I mentioned on the show that when she did it with the Chris situation and we didn't see you check it, I said it's gonna come up later on, because you're gonna let it pass, but really and truly how you feel about it, it's going to come out later on, right? And so she's also going to test it because she feels like you're not being honest either. So she's going to press some more buttons until she gets the true reaction, because she also needs to trust that when you get angry, what do? Now she's seen the anger and she's seen the reaction. Like, I've seen the anger. I don't want to be near her. He ain't honest about how he really feel, right? So we've got both people who are not really trusting each other. And I totally understand why. But until we have this real conversation, and the beautiful thing about the fact that FA and DA, what the beautiful thing is, the thing that builds the trust is absolutely freaking truth. When you tell the truth in its fullest entirety, it doesn't matter how scary it is, how mad it is. That's why she probably appreciates when you tell her the absolute truth about the fact you have other women around. It doesn't mean also she probably won't trust you, but she's happy with the fact that you tell the absolute truth because she can trust that. But anything less than that, it ain't gonna work. You know what I'm saying to you? And you need that safe space for her to open it up so you can tell the truth, because you're not going to be used to that, because you're used to hiding away like I am emotionally. And she needs your absolute truth so she can trust that when you say something, you mean that. And it's not you saying one thing that sounds nice, but actually how you really mean another thing. Does that make sense? Am I making sense? I hope I'm making sense to you guys, because that's what I'm seeing in front of me right now.
I concur. I have no retort to that, and I'm just soaking that up, man. I was gonna say one last question. Millicent Reed, did you think that I loved you?
Yes, you did love me. And I loved you too. It was clear. Like, we did have a bond. It was no trauma bond. I don't know what the therapist was talking about, but we did have a bond. So, but we weren't going to trauma bond. I had respect for you. And how I show my love is through respect. Like, I'm not going to call you out your name. Like, I'm not going to make you feel less of a man. Like, I'm never going to talk about your parts. And that's, no, real men, I would never have to do that to. Only bitches.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
I
I still
needed
love
this.
you now. I still love you now. There's still love there, But being in a relationship, especially what I wanted then, is totally different than now, Greg. I am terrible. I don't think you would want this person. I worked on myself, but
I think you shy from.
I'm grown as hell, guys. I'm grown. This ain't it.
Ultimately, you shy from it too. It's I don't want to say you wanting me or to fail in quotes. It's just I think you're afraid spectacular that could be there. So.
Not even just for you, it's for everybody, every man. I'm scared of men, right? That's something I need to work on, and being more vulnerable and being open. That hasn't done me good in the past, and that's a fear of mine, but that's something that I'm working on, and understanding that there are good people that want to love you, and you are one of them, but you knew you wanted that, like, after the fact. Like, you know what I'm saying? You had to deal with me first, and that's how a lot of men are. They have to really see you for who you are. They have to go through something with you to see, like, oh no, I really have to respect this girl. Like, I have to really take her serious. Like, it's just, you got to put people through that. And that's what men usually do, is put them through tests. They put women through tests. I got to see how she's going to react. I'm going to keep her on her toes. I don't want no girl getting so comfortable. And that's why men need to go to therapy as well, right? Men do it too to women. So we all are messed up beings, and we all need help. But we have to allow ourselves to get there and just be honest with ourselves. Like, I'm honest with myself. The whole show didn't even put this in. Every time I would speak to somebody, I'm like, I ain't shit. I am a person that will fuck up. I am not they were asking me for advice, Greg. What they asking me for advice for? And I'm the one that's going to give you the worst advice sometimes. Like, but honestly, I'll just leave it there. I'm talking too much. Go ahead, Greg.
Now, Coach, can you segue serious to some things in the house, man? And this is.
Oh yeah, there's some serious questions we need to ask. Go for it. Yeah, go for it. Mm-hmm. I mean, I wanted to ask Millie about the Chris situation, because we obviously, I know she's been on other channels, but obviously since we're here, I think this would be a great time to explain, Millie, what happened with the Chris situation, because it went from 0 to 1 freaking million within a second. So tell me what happened between you and Chris and how we got here.
Give me that old Millie.
Oh, yeah. So Chris, the number one thing with Chris, as you saw on the show, he doesn't like to talk to women at all, right? So he would have rather dealt with just Gregg. The reason why Chris and now Gregg has an issue is because the way I spoke to Chris. He just thinks that women shouldn't speak to men like that. They just shouldn't speak at all, actually, or have emotions or feelings. And that didn't sit well with me, especially to a woman that's on the show asking me for help to help her communicate to him, because he's not getting it. Every time she's trying to say something, he's literally belittling her, telling her like, oh, you're just listening to people, you're making people put things in your head. And I just felt bad for her, honestly. And I just wanted to get to the point, like, get to the reason why I would have actually had a great intellectual conversation with Chris at the table if it went well, if Gregg sat there. But he doesn't like to speak to women. So he just likes to say, you did it was right what you did. And did you think that, okay, then that's just how he is. He didn't get loud or anything, but it was his gestures, it was his body language, it's his tone. Like, he was condescending. Like, let's just be honest at that table. And it was irking my nerves. If Gregg, I promise you, if Gregg would have sat at that table, I would have apologized. Like, you know what, that was wrong. I thought you out your name, and I just think that, like, there's better ways to handle things. Yep, 100%. I just didn't have the time. he didn't respect women, so why should I respect him? He definitely didn't respect me because he told me to talk, but then he didn't want me to speak again at that table. Like, how do you go from Josh, you go to Gregg, and then you get to me, and now it's a big deal. Like, oh, I don't even care what Millie has to say. And I was shut down as a child to not speak. So when someone gives me the floor to speak, I'm going to say my mind. And he tried to play me in front of everybody, so I played him back. I think it's fair. That's how I'm going to put that. Should I call him out his name? No, but if a person's lying, he's lying. Everyone's saying the same thing. The fans are saying the same thing that we said. Like, there's no lies there. But they were playing in my face, and that's and he played me, so I played him back. And I just think that's just how that dynamic was. But could it have went a better way? 100%. I could have sat there and said, Chris, like, I know you're a good dude. Like, why do you treat women? Like, why do you think that women shouldn't have a voice? Like, what happened to you to make you feel that type of way? Because I felt offended. I felt like you could have done something different there and you didn't. You chose to belittle me and shut me up the way you shut up Cynthia. And that's just I have a mouth, so you can't do that to me. You probably could do it to a girl that would just take that. But like, I felt like she took that. She probably didn't. She actually was crying. That's kind of sad. But me, I'm gonna yell at you back. It's fair. So that's what I thought.
So what happened? Obviously, then when he got up from the table and left, which I kind of get. Obviously, okay, listen, it happened at the table. I don't agree with it, but he left the table, and you went after him. It was actually quite aggressive behavior. I'm just gonna be honest with you. It was actually aggressive. So,
100%.
what was happening to you at that point that you are now chasing him? I don't know if it was edited, but you seen that you chased him into the other room, still to keep attacking him, and then you called him a B word again, and actually he wasn't responding to you at that point. So, what's happening at that point?
He was responding to me. It's called edits. So he was responding to me. He was. So he just didn't like my tone, clearly, right? So that was pretty much it. It was my tone. Actually, no, it was just me speaking. It was just me having my own voice. He didn't like that. Me actually speaking my truth of how I felt about being shut down in front of everyone. So he didn't like my delivery. And that's what made me yell, because you're not going to shut me up like you shut up everybody else. Like, I'm going to say what I need to say. It's going to hit you. Something I'm saying is going to hit you the wrong way, and you're going to feel some type of way about it. So, and that was my goal, clearly. My goal was to bring him down. I felt brought down as a woman. So you're bringing down Zendaya, bringing down women. You make bad decisions, all types of stuff. You don't like women. So if you don't like women, I don't like you. That's just what it is. And he stand firm on that. Like, he stand his ground on being a total asshole. Why was he an asshole on this show? He didn't have to be. I don't know what possessed him to be. I know his parents are there. His family is from Haiti. They don't tolerate that. Like, you don't have to act like that, especially show yourself the way you did on television, national television at that, talking about women. You talked about your mother pretty much, and that's not okay. So when Taronda said what she needed to say to him at the end, I concur. Like, the way he acted was, I don't come on now. The whole world saw how much of an asshole he was. Like, I was just taking up for somebody that needed help. So I'm not taking up for women anymore when it comes to, I'm gonna let them just be in their situation. I'm gonna mind my business. I'll leave them there.
So in that situation, do you also see that whilst you obviously quote unquote got him, did you realize that you were also in the same predicament?
What do you mean?
Whilst you went after him because you didn't like what he did, it actually exposed you at the same time. Did you realize that it was actually exposing you? Because at that point where he gets up to leave and he wants to go away and doesn't want to have the conversation anymore, you follow him.
Yes,
So,
and I would still do it. I'll still do that behavior, the same thing that I did then. I would still do it now. I probably would do a little different. I wouldn't probably call him short or his dick is small, or say I'd call him name. I probably wouldn't call him a bitch again, but I'll probably be in his face, cursing him out, a bunch of bad words for sure. I don't like men that don't make women feel safe. If you don't make women feel safe, I'm gonna fight you. I don't care. I grew up in a town, Long Branch, New Jersey, where girls would fight boys. I will beat you up. Like, you're short, like, to me. I don't care. I would definitely beat him up. But for the sake of my relationship and Gregg actually set me straight. So I don't even know why everyone's trying to act like Gregg never said anything to me. Like, maybe they didn't see that edit, but when we were in the room, Gregg said, Mills, that's not okay. Like, I don't want you fighting nobody. I don't want us getting sent home just because you wanted. You see what happened to the people, in the first episode, how they went home like that. I don't want us going home. I actually want us to have a good experience here. You are a good person. You care about people. Everyone comes to you with advice. Like, we're not going to act like that. He did set me straight. So at the end of the day, and everything changed after that. Like, I was cool. Like, I was talking to Chris after that. We were still having conversations here and there on the show. So it wasn't like I just hated Chris. I just don't like his delivery when it comes to the topic of women. I just don't like it. And I don't stand for that. So I can't be around something or hear something because God won't allow me just to hear BS in this room and not say something, say the truth. I'm sorry.
So, just because I want to highlight this situation, right? I think obviously when we have arguments, and I'm not going to be mad at it, but I do want to highlight how dangerous that behavior is. Like I genuinely want you to understand that how dangerous that behavior is, not only for the other person but also for yourself as well, because it didn't stay as an argument. You actually got up and followed him, and you're saying to me that you
And
still
what
do the
was he
same thing
gonna do?
today.
I have a man. My man will protect me. He called me a slut. He called me broke. He called me ugly.
Towards
Where
the
was
end,
my
yes.
man saying you call my girl a slut? He didn't hear that part. You know what I'm saying? Like,
No,
when
we
he
heard
was
that
trying
part. He
to
said
edit.
towards the end, he said it.
Yeah. So he said a lot of things, and my man did not protect me in that moment. He just wanted to see what's going on. What's going on? At the end of the day, I felt like Greg should have protected me at that table from him because he already knew he didn't like women. He should have just stayed at that table with me, but he didn't. So I felt I had to do justice. I felt like I had to. Since Greg was going to be nice to Chris this whole time. Like, oh, what happened? Like, how did the conversation go? Like, no, he doesn't like women. You know that I need the support from my man, and my man wasn't there to support me. Like, he wasn't. But at the end, he told me, babe, that's wrong. There's better ways we do this. Like, yes, he did. And did I understand? Yes. And did I do better? Yes, I did after that moment. So I don't want to act like, Millie, you didn't listen to nothing. You don't listen to Greg. No, I actually did listen to Greg. I respect Greg. I respect Josh. I respect a lot of men. Brandon in the house. I respected everybody. So I don't want anyone acting like, oh, Millie was just yelling at every guy. She hates men. That's not true. That's not true at all.
Greg, do you
Is
want
it dangerous
to?
behavior? For sure it's dangerous behavior, but he doesn't put no fear in me. I'm sorry. Chris doesn't put no fear in me. Only God does. So, and if I see a man that don't respect women and don't make women feel safe, I'm sorry. I'm going to be masculine in that moment. There's nothing feminine about that moment when a man doesn't like women. So let's just stop pretending that he said if he likes women, because he said he doesn't. And his actions show that as well. So I'm going to chastise me, punish Millie. Millie is so wrong for calling him a B. He is a bitch. Stop trying to act like he's not. His ways is like he was acting right. Like, Kojo, stop trying to act like he's right in his ways, and he was not this whole time.
I'm not saying he's right in his ways, but
and it's not. So that's dangerous. So what's dangerous is his behavior against women. Let's start there.
It's actually both your behaviors. That's what you don't.
Is his behavior dangerous?
I've already called his behavior as being dangerous though. So, but you're not
So
realizing that you are not the. You are showing. Say sometimes when we expose other people, we don't realize we're exposing ourselves. So Chris isn't here.
I didn't expose Kojo. I didn't expose anybody. He exposed himself.
No. When
I yelled before that. You see me yelling and everyone congratulates. Yes, Chris needed that. Yes, Millie said what needed to be said.
Well, let me go and that's my opinion. First and foremost, and I told Mills this right then and there. My first hiccup with that was just not being the mediator or the moderator, staying in that situation right then and there. Because one, I thought cooler heads would prevail, but two, it simply went over my head that they had to dust up. It's not like Millicent had it out for him, but her walls and it was the guard was up, so to speak, just because his nature and everything like that. So mind you, I know for a full fact it would have gone entirely different because he's not going to pop off.
100%.
It's not controlling Millicent or controlling Chris. It's just I'm controlling the flow of the conversation. So me leaving, I think you get initially a little scared right then and there, and I completely understand that. And I apologize that because I felt like part of my tone, but fuck. And then as far as like the juvenile insults and stuff like that, as I said, I couldn't care less what the audience thinks. I damn sure had a conversation with Millicent after that and said she was in the wrong for calling him out of his name, those things. We kept each other accountable. We've always done that. It's just I'm not as boisterous sometimes, or it's not shown on screen on an instant like that. When she got to chasing him, I should just picked her up on my shoulder and just carried her ass out on some real shit. And then it wasn't to make her feel better, but this is important to add. Having kind of heard his little retort and some of those insults he thought back after that, I went up to his room And it's not to be tough or anything like that, and told him how I felt about that situation. And that's what the audience doesn't know, and I don't need to make a whole scene like that, but I think it's important. If I could have done it this, then, and there, I would have done it right at that moment. Now, I didn't hear the slut. I know it sounds crazy, like how I didn't hear that, because I definitely would have piped up for that. I can take a lot of shit, but that's straight to the point, and you get what that means. Like, she ain't going to be many of that at all. And the biggest thing, which I felt kind of led to it, is when they had that first kind of blow up in the kitchen before they sat down. I can't speak for Millicent, but I know we're on the same accord when it says, you kept asking us, Chris, and you kept asking my girl. The conversation that kind of died right when Aaron came in their old school. I don't like you. I don't like this. And just whatever little rant he went on. The conversation was dead. And then Chris, well, for the record, I never said anything bad. And have you heard Josh, Gregg, Millicent? Don't be pointing to us. We're not in the shit. We already talked in my room on one of those conversations where when I briefly said, if your girl's having an issue with it, maybe you should take your foot off the gas pedal, my man. And they had their reasons to handle it and thinking they lose the power as men. So it's just like, stop bringing up her name, asking her a damn question if you don't want her response. Because first of all, we're not even involved in that. Go say that to Jody in your own room or something and tell her on your own accord that you never said anything. We ain't said nothing about Jody either. So it's just a mute, redundant, superfluous, unnecessary point. And you saw when like I said, it's not trying to be tough, but postured up after Millie snapped and said that, and Gregg, get your girl. Like, I ain't about to do that. Not for this, for what? You know? So she said her thing, and that's when I got up, where it's just like, we cross this threshold, this barrier, brother, we're never going to make it back, man, because my allegiance is to her. That doesn't mean I agree with everything she says, but I thought she was in the right for that. I wish I would have stayed at that conversation, at that thing. And Millicent, if you didn't know, please believe I went up to that room and said that shit. When I found out about that.
I never knew that, Gregg. This is the first time I'm hearing that you actually like said something to him like about that. Like,
it's not real G's moving silence. It's not maintaining face. Like, there's shit that I'm not going to stand for. And there's just, I've got to be, like I said, you get more bees with honey of the fact of where does this lead? We get in a fight. Because if he kept talking, it's going to get to that, and then we all get kicked off. And the hell with getting kicked off, it's about our pride first and foremost, and you're not going to talk to you like that. So I addressed it in there. But I should have just stayed at that table first. I know it would have gone differently. And to Chris's point, just to up, thanks, Mills and Coach, if I may, we've had some contention. There's no ifs or questions about that. I'm talking about Chris and I in recent, and it's probably a lot of male bravado and much to do about nothing. But over the past week, and shout out to Chris, because he texted me his number, and if you're listening to this, brother, because it seemed like you do a lot of watching first and foremost, I will go ahead and call you, man. I will. But you seem to come by the mindset that I went to Millicent and set this up as if this was some conspired effort for you to talk to my girl, for her to berate you, and me just to sick her on you like a damn dog or something like that. I literally thought cooler heads would prevail. That's why I said you want to talk to my girl to set things right. Now, obviously, like a schmuck, if I say that and I delegate the conversation, it would have been entirely different. But if you're sitting here thinking that there's some joint effort to start dumping on you on that couldn't be further from the truth at all. At all. That was not the motive. We didn't even talk about that. It was spur of the moment. And I just wanted y'all to be cool. So mind you, like I said, they weren't buddy afterwards or anything like that, but they were damn sure cordial enough where they can be in the same proximity. It's not like, and the same thing with Chris. It's nice to be liked, but I don't really need any more friends. We don't need to be enemies. I'm not trying to be that, but if you thought we were there to hurt you, I'd say sorry on that. That's the only thing I apologize on that, man. So that's just really what it is. So the same way you say you have my number, you can call and set that straight too. Because if you look at it, I've been trying to big up everybody in the cast, and I don't expect everybody to kind of go high too. But you got a lot of choice words and everything for shit that you don't know what you're talking about. And this right here is just a complete misfire on your end of thinking what went wrong, your perspective on things, and it couldn't have been like that at all. So I just found that kind of funny. And like I said, don't be trying to bully and back women into the corner and asking them their opinion, and then when they get to talking. So should she have called him out of his name? No, but you're doing a whole lot, and we'd be remiss if I didn't bring this up to the audience and Kojo. What you got from Chris and all them that first episode when he came into that table hot, Mills, correct me if I'm wrong, that was watered down like a mug. They were going
The
in.
whole time. He was just like Benz. Him and Benz is the same exact person.
All the women started snapping on Chris right then and there, and I contested that. I think that's why I left the room and went with Mills and probably kissed her goodnight, and I went to go do my thing because it just got crazy and abstract, and there's
Who
just no.
wants to hear that? Like, who wants to hear a guy bashing women? I have so much women. They don't even mean anything. I just fuck
And
them.
then the girl sit
I
right
fuck them
there.
on the first night away. And then Cindy is standing right
Right.
there. Why are you still here? Get out of here. Go get out of the room. Get like so in front of everybody. That's disrespectful. So you don't think that that's not something's building up in me as a person being a witness to everything that's I'm saying that's not right. I'm sorry. I'm gonna be the person that speaks up. I might not say it the right way, but I'm gonna say how I feel and I don't care what people feel. It doesn't bother me at all. I stand 10 toes down on how I feel about Chris. Actually, I don't have a problem with Chris. I'm just right there. I don't have a problem with him. Maybe his ways and his tone and his delivery, but everything else, like he probably is a good guy underneath,
The facade.
Yeah, underneath all of that tough, exterior. I think that, yeah, internal, he probably is actually a good guy. He just probably was hurt by women before, probably hurt by a woman like me. Just
Well, he said that.
a woman that's strong. He doesn't like strong women. That's his problem. That's all.
I can't even lie. I'm shooketh. I can't lie. I'm shooketh. Listen, whilst I think Chris is it's a problem, I really do believe it's a problem. Y'all are giving me vigilante energy right now, and as well as it sounds great when it's in a comic book, but in real life, this is dangerous. I can't lie to you, Millie. You're dangerous because you will cause another man to fight another man, and it's unnecessary.
That's not true.
And also, wait, before you jump in, before you jump in, let me explain. The reason why I say that is because you're still telling me now today you wouldn't change that behavior, knowing that behavior was actually holding.
I said I would change calling him a B, not yelling at him because that's wrong.
But you wouldn't have changed the behavior because you got up and followed him and you told me that you wouldn't have changed that behavior.
I said calling him a B.
Okay,
that was the issue of everybody.
You would not get up and follow him now.
It wasn't because I chased him. It was because I called him a B. I called him my.
That's not the only. I'm saying. So would you now not get up and follow him in another situation?
No, I would have never got up for what chase. Who is he?
Okay. So if you said that's what you're saying now, you wouldn't have got up and followed him. You wouldn't have called him a B word. Okay, cool. Because that's what I was saying. I was saying that when I asked the question, I asked about the behavior would have changed it. I didn't actually mention necessarily the B word. I was talking about the behavior that you actually exhibited in that moment. But if you're saying you wouldn't get up,
everybody was stuck on the B word. No one was stuck on anything else.
But I didn't ask that. So I asked about your behavior in general with Chris. Mm-hmm. So the reality situation is you said.
So what you're trying to say, Kojo, would I have done it differently? Yes. There you go. There's the answer. I would have done it differently. I would have never done anything. I would have not said anything. I would have kept quiet.
And that's probably just the thing. Both have points on Kojo's point as far as others involved. Millicent, you got to see he's only can see what he saw on the television, right? He wasn't there, so you got to bear with him. You calling that man out of the thing gets me involved. I know it may not sound like that in that thing, but I don't mind doing it. But you see, with the grand scheme of things, just like I hate to bring it to Aaron and everything like that, don't let your girl gas you up and you go in there and point in people's faces, because you know how that gets handled in the real world, so to speak. Get laid down, go to jail, or literally just it's a bad beat. So on that, like I said, he wasn't worth it. He'd call him name, because if Chris does something and hits you, as tough as you are, come on, it's not about that.
He would have lost.
And that
I'll tell you, he would have lost. I promise you.
You get your
Greg,
shot
you
in,
know me. Like, you know me, Greg. Like, I don't play that at all.
We're better than that. We don't have to aim like
that. Just because I'm 34 now doesn't mean that someone can get slapped up if they step to me. If they would have stepped to me, they probably got slapped. I have no problem slapping people, especially if they slap me first. Okay. But I wasn't gonna do the slapping first. I tell you.
Free for all, tornado tag, and I'm in that boy. That's what I'm just saying. And we all get arrested, so it doesn't have to be like that. You know what I'm saying?
Greg, what the heck are you? Greg, you're about to be an enabler.
Like Millie, you're putting people in jeopardy. I get it.
You are. But Greg is an enabler. So this is listen, this is dangerous behavior. It's just what happened in their dangerous behavior. And Greg, you need to be honest, because I call out everybody on this stuff. You need to be honest. You saying you're going to tag team, you ain't tag team because you wasn't involved in the first one, so you're not going to be involved in the second one. The reality of the situation is you wouldn't have been because you wouldn't have jumped. You didn't jump in the first one. It's not your natural instinct to do that, right? And this is why we're gonna have issues between the two of you, because if you don't be honest about this situation, right, you're gonna get yourself in a deeper trouble. Okay, what she did will cause you to be in situations you don't need to be in. Now you're gonna tell me you're gonna tag team. You didn't do it the first time. Why would you tag team the second time?
Fight though, brother. Physical fight or bravado and talking shit, which I couldn't care less about that. Are you talking about if he touched her in any shape, way, or form, I wouldn't get involved?
No, I'm not saying you wouldn't. I wouldn't get involved, like per se in general. But I'm saying this situation doesn't need to get to a point where you need to tag team, because the moment you start saying that you're gonna have to tag team, right, is the moment we start enabling behaviors. We don't need to be there in general behavior. I'm hauling your ass out because you shouldn't be there in the first place.
No, I concur wholeheartedly. It didn't have to get there, but yeah, if he touched her any metric, I don't care about the chirping and stuff like that. If you make a move, it's over, man. Point blank, period. And I don't give a damn.
So Kojo, so you're basically saying him shutting me down. So Chris shutting me down in front of everyone, in front of my man, like, was okay. I didn't start that. Chris started that. Now he asked me to speak. Now he's shutting down Gregg's woman. He said Gregg wanted to stand up. No, he said, I don't know if you caught this, but no. What Gregg did was he came in between. He's like, no, my girl got this. That's what he said. And I want everyone to know that Gregg had my back at that table. He like, no, you asked for her to talk. Now she's talking. You stirred up the bully. And she's gonna say some shit, like, cause she deserves to now because you shut her down. I don't think he was ready for that. And maybe Gregg wasn't ready for it too. But he was gonna protect me. Yes, he was. Because he said, he's like, nope, she got this. Don't tell my girl to sit down and be quiet. She got this. She's gonna say what she needs to say. And he let me say what I need to say. And it could have been just like that. But no, Gregg was like, nah. Speaking to Chris had a problem with it. So like, I want you and my girl to sit down and have a conversation. He should have sat at that table. And that's it. End of story. He should have sat at that table. I would apologize for that. I probably would have got a little bit more out of him. Maybe he would have put down his wall a little bit, for sure, if Gregg was sat at that table. Because what? He respects men, right? He would have been the mediator. He would have helped the whole storyline. The whole narrative would have been good. Boring and just good. Just like that. Like, oh, okay. That's that. This is television. Like, say how you feel and say it. Like, he was speaking up. He was being himself. Let me be myself too. Oh, Millie showed herself. I'm not embarrassed of anything. No one can make me feel ashamed of anything. I stand up for myself no matter what. I don't care. It can be wrong, right, whatever. But am I going to hold myself accountable? For sure. And if Gregg, like he said, babe, that wasn't right. I want you to talk to Chris. I was even open to talk to Chris. You act like I hate him. I would never sit. We like I yelled at Gregg. It's like, I would never sit with Chris and have a conversation. That's not the case. I'm a very understanding person. Like, I want to get to the bottom of everything, for sure. That's how I acted on the show with these girls, with the relationships, people asking me questions, me being there for people, caring about everybody. That's just how it was. But I'm not going to continue and let people just say, like, oh, that was so wrong, the B word. Oh, he called me a slut. Nobody cared about that. He called me broke. No one cared about that. No one cared about, I mean, even in your one of your videos, you said, like, well, when he called her a slut, I was okay with that because she called him to be so many times. Like, and I'm just like, tit for tat, is that okay? That's still toxic. That's dangerous too, though. You don't think?
Jojo, I don't know if that's on you, man, but like I said, I wish I stayed at that table because I know it would have been different. But looking at my posture in the first scene, like I said, that when your boy was there and present, there's some shit that I'm not gonna stand for, and that's just self-evident. And I'm beating myself up for not being at the table the second time. The third time when she's chasing him and they're just giving juvenile insults, was I've said
no, that was right. You had every right to push me back. When you were pushing me back, you were telling me to stop. It's not like they must have muted your sound because you were telling me to stop it. You were saying something. So
yeah,
you just was pushing me back, not saying nothing. Like, Gregg was telling me to stop. So that's that. When I see red, and that's something I need to work on. Like, you are a target to me. I don't like you. Like, I'm gonna make sure you're gonna have the worst day ever. You're gonna remember me for the rest of your life. I promise you. And that he remembers me for the rest of his life. Oh, I don't even remember what's her name again. You know my name, Chris. Remember he tried to play me. He was like, I don't even know who's that. What's that girl name again? You know me.
And since he was pumping his gums and stuff, flapping his gums, pontificating about some stupid shit, like it's probably just puppy love and stuff too. Just think about the sentiment after that. Like, what is she saying?
She likes me, right?
Sound like who?
Get the fuck out of here.
First of all,
I like you, Chris. Get out of here. I think it's the complete opposite. Loser.
It's just crazy. It's just so crazy,
A
man.
narcissist behavior. That's narcissistic. Like
Yeah.
what?
When they came in that house the first night when they all started jumping, two of those men, I won't even say their names, you probably guess who they are. It'd be quite easy. We're talking about if you can trade and switch your women, would y'all be on board? Now, mind you, that's just guy talking, we're shooting the shit, but they already came in there saying that. You know what I'm saying? So for one of the guys, and I'm jumping all over the place here, like, what's his name, Neek? I actually had no problem with Neek. I thought he was a funny ass dude, pretty funny guy from the small sample size. Obviously, I don't condone any of the DV. And if you're watching this dumbass, I'm speaking directly to Neek. I've never said anything ill, even brought up the domestic disturbance with you and Shorty, other than I don't condone it. So like he's got his foot halfway in the water when it comes to me, which I couldn't care less. It was like, oh, free my man Gregg. Then, oh, Gregg's a square. These niggas are clowns, man. They don't even know which direction they want to turn in. One day he's picking you up on a comment, and the next day he's fixing a plate of spaghetti for my girl, talking about he put an extra thing of catfish on there from day one and a damn half slider. I think he tried to give that to her afterwards. I took that plate like, she don't want you, man. And it's not personal or anything. We were just in there for each other. So it's just, I don't understand the narrative of some of these guys. I'm talking about Neek and Chris. And then wanting to think that they've been painted in a bad art. You painted your damn self like Basquiat on that damn screen. Whatever you gave is what y'all did. And if anything for that, it's probably watered down. But for guys like me who've actually had your back on certain stuff, it's just so funny that you guys just can't see that. And it's just kind of some clown material. But my allegiance was to Millicent Reed first thing and foremost. So I really wish I just stayed at that table, Kojo, for anything else. If that was one of the, apart from something, not to say it's rudimentary because it's important to the birthday, of course, but if I can go back, that would probably have been one of the things. Because that set the dynamics for a certain kind of relationship as far as two housemates. And then it's just, I don't like Millie getting there. And I know you really had to press the button. Here's the thing. This is not really what she does. She can cut up, but this is not fun for her. And I know she can tell you more than that. So those little moments of contention, if I showed you how many times that we just had great conversations when they split those 4 screens and stuff, we're in there studying together, doing shit. What were we doing, like karate or something? One of them things outside, stuff. Just that's how a lot of that was. So I'm not saying she was always in the right for handle. She handled stuff, but that showing those moments of weakness and those contentious moments weren't always prevalent. And it took a special kind of person to kind of get her there. So I got to kind of have her back on that. It's mainly because I was involved in one instances and I felt like I know I should have been at that table. Because it just would have went entirely different. Just like how it was the first time when she spoke her piece and I got up and we heard church, like church mice, didn't hear a goddamn thing from the Calvary in Chris's direction. End of conversation. Y'all go about your business and we'll do the same thing. So I hope we answered that, Kojo. And I'm not teaming up on you, brother. But
No. Listen. I don't take it personally. You're addressing some of the issues. I'm not mad at it. Obviously, the other thing that we probably wanted to address, obviously, is you two's therapist kind of conversation that a lot of people had, thoughts on, including myself. And I opened up to say, obviously, there might have been an edit because there was a moment where Millie, you had shared about had shared intimately about something that you had gone through, which was very painful. And obviously Gregg then shared something as well, which we don't really get to hear as all the way through because it kind of edits a little bit. And in that space, obviously we see Millie make a face in regards to what Gregg kind of said. I want to know, was that clip, was it exactly as it was played? Millie, did you make a face at the time when he was sharing intimately what his, what he had been through, or was that just an edit? I just want to know from your perspectives what happened in that situation with a therapist.
Honestly, I was making a face the whole time because it was cold outside, and I was really irritated. Honestly, why we are outside in the cold? Why can't we be inside? I actually had a heat warmer in my hand. I'm not trying to justify the reason why I made a face because I was actually irritated by something. Honestly, I think it's something that I think me and Gregg had an issue about something about laundry. I don't know, like something was irritating me, honestly. So when Toronto wanted us to do therapy, I just thought it was about my situation and the fact that I just spilled everything out on the couch with Gregg. And I just felt like Gregg was like really quiet, and he tried his best. Like, I'm here for you or whatever. What I really wanted Gregg to say was like, that would never happen to you again. I think that's what I wanted to hear on that couch. That's why I kept talking, wasn't really getting that out of him. He was listening. He was giving me his undivided attention, but it was just like, I think he zoned out a couple times. Like, okay, I hear you, but I hear you. Maybe he was thinking about himself, and I didn't know that he went through things like that. We've never got to those discussions. That's why I said we never had real conversations before, and I want to have those. I don't know how Gregg's going to feel about my situation and things that I've been through, or why I'm cut off, when it comes to sex or things like that. Like, why is your wallet, Millie? There's like reasons why. It's not just a cute girl. Like, it's so much more to women I wish that men knew. And I'm not trying to justify me making a face. I didn't make a face. I was just like, it is about me, right? But then Gregg wanted to speak, but no, like the edit made it look like I didn't really care or something. Like, I did. I was touching Gregg the whole time. I don't know. The edit just showed me just tapping his shoulder. Like, I actually put a heat warmer in his back. That's what I did. Right, Gregg? I put a heat warmer in your back so you just have it. It was just cold outside. I wanted him to know, like, I'm here for you. I'm rubbing his back and everything. Like, as he put his hand on my leg, I also was rubbing on him as well when he started talking about the situation. I never knew about this. Once we got into the house now, he was like, I don't know if I should have said that. Like, it's something so secret. I never spoke about that before. And I had to get him together. Even before we sat at the couch, I'm like, no, it's going to help somebody, Gregg. You're literally helping somebody out there. It's bigger than us. And I kept on telling him, like, it's bigger than us. My story's bigger. Like, our story's bigger, like, than everything. Like, we are just a vessel in this house helping out other people. Really, we're mirroring the world. There's girls that act like me. There's men that act like Gregg. It's just so beautiful about our show is that we're truly being ourselves. This is not scripted. I'm literally, why would I curse out Chris like that if it's scripted? Come on, like why would I do that to myself? I'm actually going to be myself. I'm going to be organic, And so that moment when I made that face, yeah, I know, I'm like, wait, what's going on? Like, I'm interested. And so what you did see was like that face was more of just like, maybe I need to be, my facial expressions, I need to work on that more, right? I'm in counseling, so I know that facial expressions actually mean a lot, right? It tells a lot, especially in the Black community. But I did make a face, and I was like, let me hear what's really going on. This is shocking to me, like, because he looked away, and every time I'm speaking about myself, like, I don't know if he's like caring that much, or he's just like, all right, I heard it already. Like, we understand. Like, it just gave me the, yes, Gregg understood. He understands what I've been through, but like, I didn't think sometimes he cared about what I was saying. He just like, all right, you've been raped. I mean, I'm here for you, but I hear you. Like, I just felt like he obviously was going through his own pain in a way that he never told anybody. So he was very vulnerable. So I deserved to give him his moment. And we did. Hey, we talked about it. Gregg had his moment, and I'm like, no, like, this makes me think about everything different. It's not all about me. That's what happened. It's just, I realized everybody has something that they're going through and they're battling. The reason why Gregg probably jumps to girl is because he's going through something. I have to think it's not about me and my issues, like everything I'm going through. The whole world is going through something. Gregg is going through something. I have to help him heal from his situation too. It's a lot. It's just everything just smacked me in my face. Like, it's not just you, it's the world. It's Gregg. It's everybody. So you have to understand that everybody goes through something. Like, it's not just you. Yeah.
Gregg, from your perspective, want to know your perspective on the situation, and how you felt about that situation. Was it as we saw it? Was it different for you? How did you see it?
Yes, sir. Taking that last portion first, I'll address that initially. I said, as the good Lord is my witness. Mills, how many times did I probably lead off and tell her, like, girl, it's not always about you, Millie. I must have said that line 1,000 times. I'm not even talking about just this situation, just our rhetoric in the house and everything like that. We're all going through something, and we all have our story and stuff too. So the biggest thing is, like, you want empathy and everything, and people to understand and to be understanding with yourself. But you got to be able to give that and show that too. And she does give it. She just might have other ways that she may have alluded to, the facial expressions. Well, we know what's right and what is wrong. So to answer your question, you didn't ask this. I thought that was a weird evening for me, Kojo, and I wasn't a fan of that. Not just because I expressed what's going on. It's just, I think that was more of Mill's idea. And mind you, maybe she thought it was going to be one-on-one, and then of course it's couples, but we're in a couples session, so I denounced or I was affronted by anybody who was in the comments or anything that thought I may have taken or stolen a potential moment or something like that when you're in a couples session and a lady or a therapist asks me a question, you know. Now, mind you, I had not regaled or told anybody that sentiment yet, so I'm sure that would kill anybody off. So if you're to answer your question, Kojo, about Millie, if she was given a face or side eye, if that were the case, of course, I denounce and hell no, that wouldn't be the correct response. You know, absolutely not. But at the same token, I can speak of the things that I did see, which is the comfort. The reason why I was looking away, first of all, is because it's hitting close to home. If you've got a situation that you haven't thought about in years or it's happened to you, well, stop the world. I can express that at any given moment whenever I feel good and ready to do so. And I leaned on her strength to kind of say it. But it was weird. It was cold. I did think about ways of maybe how I can maybe address my question without being overbearing, because one, I didn't really want to disclose too much too, and then I was a little confused because there was one portion that I wasn't overly fond about, that the therapist, and they're talking to Millicent and I, and they're talking about like when I said I'm so sorry that that hurt you and I wouldn't let that happen. That response kind of went like that was the ill response or something like that, and the therapist like you're not gonna make me feel bad at all. There's unless I was just being blatantly disrespectful, what does one say to that besides just shut your mouth and use your ears and listen? And mind you, like I said, I'd already heard it on the couch with Millicent earlier, and I could hear it 1,000 times, and I'm always going to have love for her and try to hold her. But if you recall back to the initial episode or whatever earlier in that day, I don't need a man to be strong. That's some of those overbearing tools that she just said at the Chris situation that I want her to be cognizant about. I know you're strong. I know you're robust, and you got it. But that doesn't mean that doesn't give me the right to be there right with you, and because I want to and because I can, most importantly. You know what I'm saying? So I did hold her and stuff like that. But you don't want to overdo it. And then, mind you, like I said, maybe some of those thoughts of Gregg just being too touchy or whatever, I don't want to be overbearing on that. You just almost kind of want to put a hand on the shoulder and listen and tell you I'm there. So those are some hurdles that I try to get with Millie. And I feel like she did let her guard down eventually with time. But I'm like, I'm not going to feel bad about that response. And girl, I don't care what's going on with this therapist, even though she's very qualified and adroit what she's got going on. I'm going to be with you 10 tones down the whole time. And I think anybody can see that in every episode. I've had her back in best interest and protected her, albeit that one moment of weakness when I failed to moderate that conversation. So just to put a ribbon on the consultation with the therapist, once it became clear and everything that what I said got out, I don't know if the audience didn't see this. We had a perfect moment where I think we finally got back in the house and we're like staring in front of this big, majestic, beautiful mirror. And remember, Millicent, I think we're like looking in each other's eyes, holding each other for like a minute, 2 minutes. Shout out to production. Someone put that through because they can see that we were kind of on edge and I was kind of visibly shaking and everything like that. So I have her support and everything. I don't want her to think, I'm just speaking directly to you, that I handled that wrong or I didn't obviously care about your situation. No, I absolutely did. I just need that same love and emotion and support in return. I ultimately got that as we progressed.
I appreciate you sharing that. Obviously, I think it's interesting that you made a comment, obviously, about, like, obviously, your thought process in terms of, obviously, she had said on the couch, okay, I don't need no man, da da da. I love for you to explain. I mean, I know what you meant, Millie, but so from your perspective, what was going on in your mind when you're saying maybe on the couch, I don't need a
He
man, I
didn't
don't need a
say what I
man.
wanted him to say. I still didn't feel safe with Gregg. I didn't feel safe. I still didn't feel safe with Gregg knowing that someone called me a slut and someone called me all those things. I did not know that this man went to him and to check him a little bit with that. I didn't know that. I still didn't feel safe with men. Okay. So at the end of the day, that's just how I'm going to respond. It's trauma. Like, obviously I went through something traumatic in my life. So people have just, they don't understand me sometimes. And that's just okay, but it's kind of not okay when you actually want to be with me. Like, I need someone that like that would never happen to you again. And just like at the end of the show when we did the last game, he said, when we had everyone, all the couples asking questions and things like that. He says, well, you didn't give me time to say like it would never happen to you again and things like that. Like I had to feed that to him a little bit. Like when a woman wants to feel safe, I want to feel safe in every single angle. Like financially, I want to feel safe, mentally, spiritually. I want to feel safe with a person. And I don't just want another soul tie. I want someone that actually is that God sent for me, you know, yeah, whatever that word is I'm looking for. But yeah, I wanted that. I want that fairy tale. Maybe Millie is a child still in the brain, but I don't care. I want what I want. I like what I like.
You can't leave us on a cliffhanger. Did I not fulfill those needs? Or...
You talked a good game. There's a lot of talking. I need action. I'm a person about actions. Like, did you say like I was there for you? Yes, you showed you were there for me. My main thing was how we are going to be once we leave from here. Like, yes, you're in my face right now, but once we get back into the real world, Gregg, are you going to be the same Gregg from the house? Period. Like, we are distant. Like, you are an hour away. Like, we would have to schedule to see each other. Yes, we talk on the phone. Yes, we FaceTime. But is that good enough? Is that good enough? No, we need to do more. Like I'm ready for certain things at that time. I was actually willing to do like maybe relationship counseling at that moment. Like I was ready to actually dive in deep, learn more about myself and relationships is why things fall apart the way they do and how to avoid it.
Well, she brought along with you. Speaking from when we left the house, I know that's two different dynamics. I felt like we really checked each other's boxes, and I was really there.
You were like, you really understood my journey. And I also had to really understand yours. I remember when we were on your bed, right? You started to explain to me what has happened to you. You actually were very vulnerable with me. That's when I started to really trust you. And when I really found out what happened to you and things like that. And the show you really didn't explain anything. But when you explained it to me, that made me really I get it. I'm supposed to be here. God ordained this. This is supposed to happen. I'm supposed to be talking to Gregg right now. This is what we're supposed to be going through right now. We're gonna get through this. And we did get through that moment. Like we understood our trauma pretty much. And you respected my trauma and also respected yours. I felt like when we were at the counseling, I don't think you really respected my trauma like that. Like, I really felt like it was just like I hear you, girl. Like I'm here. Like I hear you, Millie. You don't need no man. I don't. I say that, but obviously I do. I do want one. I do want a man inside. I want someone to make me feel safe. That's one thing. Feel safe. Feel safe to love, right? But then I realized I have to do that within myself. I have to love Millie. That's it. I can't give you anything, Gregg, if I don't love myself. And I realized that, like, Millie, the battle wasn't with the world. It wasn't with your relationships. It wasn't with men. It wasn't with your parents. It's with yourself. So that's it. And I'm battling me.
That part. And you can't shut me out. I'm trying to hold
Yeah.
you, be there for you. But let me do my job, is what I'm saying. And that's what I try to convey in those moments right then and there, too. Because it's important,
Yeah, and you tried your best. Like, you are a great guy. Like, I know that, like, the next woman that Gregg gets with he's going to be prepared this time for the right woman because he's not going to let her go for sure. I know he's like talking about like, no, you were probably going to get back together, but I do want the best for Gregg. Like, I do see him in a loving relationship, loving her, having kids, like getting married. He's that type of guy. He's definitely, if he wasn't ready then, I know he's 2 years later, he's ready now for sure.
So are you ready to, Millie? Or I mean, I just want to make it very clear because you've kind of danced around it, but I mean, he's made it clear his undying love
I'm
has
not
been
about
here.
this. I'm about actions, as you can tell.
So what actions does Gregg need to show you that will make it clear?
It's been 2 years. Where was the action? We didn't even talk. We didn't even we haven't even had a conversation until the show came out, honestly. And it's been a long time. I've dated people, I've been in relationships like since then. So it's kind of like, where was that energy? Like I feel for it. Like maybe the show, like, coming out kind of like made him revisit the feelings that he used to have, honestly. But now, I mean, he's older and smarter and wiser. He had time to think and like I had time to think too, but I don't ever want to hurt Gregg. Like, I don't know, like not right now. Like, I don't think so because I'm looking for more action in my life right now. What action can he do? He should have been doing them. If he truly felt inside that like I was the one for him and he knows that, he should have never been afraid. he should apologize that day and just was fighting. It's hard for the relationship, right? Go seek counseling. Tell me to go seek counseling. Figure out our like trauma, or what's gonna be the issues that we might have to look forward to in the future and solve them so we can resolve it before we get there. There's a lot of things that we have to work on, honestly, clearly, right? So
So again, are you saying it's too late? Because you still not giving me
I
answers.
don't. It's not. I
Is
don't
it
want to
too
say it's ever
late,
too late for
Millie?
anything. I just want to say that, like, you know, if God wants it, then it will be, and that's just it's an open ended. Like, if God wants it, I'm never gonna say no to anybody. I'm gonna
Bro,
say that. I'm not gonna say no
let
because
me tell you.
you might see me at Gregg's crib tomorrow. We don't know, right? So, right? You don't like
What do you mean?
liars, Kojo. You don't like liars on here. So why would I say anything that would never
What?
happen? You don't like
Uh,
liars.
wait. Greg, let me tell you something. PEW, position, expectation, and wants. Whenever you state your position, I love you, and you state your expectation, I want to be in a relationship with you, and they do not match your expectation, it's time to run. Because if you play any other games, you'll be here playing a long ball game. I'm not against Millie, I'm not against you. I'm just being honest. I'm just calling it as it is. Whenever anybody says to me, yeah, God might get involved, they're really telling you that the want is not matching the expectation. We can only work on yeses and nos. We don't work on maybes. Maybes are leaving things in the air. If it's a maybe, it's a no.
I'm
Man,
a type of person that you gotta just see Kojo. You gotta just keep on looking into our lives and see where we're at, to find out. Mm.
Yeah,
this,
yeah.
this first step is like a big first step, and I'm not gonna lie, and I would be a stone cold liar if I said if this journey at this show coming back didn't evoke old feelings and good energy and stuff like that. I know you feel the same thing too. There's just no getting around that. You know what I'm saying? And I know to really answer your question, I had to work on myself and as doing that, because
Mhm.
I'm not in the interest of wasting my time first and foremost, and then yours. So, we're 2.5 hours into this, and like I said, if it hasn't been clear, I'm stating it right here and now. The goal, the objective, Millicent Reed has not changed at all. It just has not. And I'll show you far better than I can tell you, like I said. I'm not just going to be bumping my gums on here and shit like that. It was the same thing then. It's the same thing now. I just needed a break to reassess and take a
A
step.
2-year break. Okay, Greg.
I understand. It probably looks clownish. I guess if I can ask, why didn't you call?
Why did I call? What do you mean? You
You,
mean say happy birthday?
why didn't you call just in general? I
Oh,
would have.
why didn't I call? Because I'm talking to someone. Like, I'm already talking to someone, so it's kind of like hard for me to like. Once I break up with a person, I don't do a break, and you already knew this. Like, I move on like really quickly, and I think that's something I need to work on too. I just feel like as soon as it doesn't work out with someone, it's just like I just move on from it. And maybe that's not the right thing to do. You should give it maybe the relationship a chance. But you literally broke it off with me. And you said, like, I think we should just take a break. I respected that. You needed some time, but I'm not going to sit there and wait, not at 32. I'm not sitting here and waiting for Greg 2 years later to get his shit right. Like, who am I to do that? Like, that would be wasting my time because we don't want to waste each other's time, especially, you know, out of sight, out of mind, right? You're not really thinking about me if you're not really texting and things like that. And I also, even though it's a two-way street, I think I could have contacted you for sure, but I was, you know, seeing other people and stuff. And you were too, though. You are doing the same exact thing. So when you said you were dating people and stuff like that, so as you should. But then, you know, we're grown, Greg, so I don't want to see it going back and forth. Because Kojo's waiting for us to probably get back together, or he's waiting for some type of big announcement show. And I don't ever want to lead people on, Kojo. I'm not leaving you on to anything. I'm not gonna, out of respect for Greg, I'm gonna let him have his feelings. I'm not a person to shut anyone down. I'm not shutting anybody down. I respect Greg, and I'm not gonna say anything. I'll leave it the way it is. But if Greg wants to put in work and be my friend, because he knows friendship is everything to me. And once you prove that you are my friend again, because it's been a hiatus, it's been like Long time, 2 years. Come on now. Like, there's a lot that happened. I could have had a whole baby, a whole man, a whole marriage. I could have had all. I could have been divorced by now, right? My relationship, new relationship. You get what I'm saying? So yeah. But if you say you're gonna do something, like you're a great talker. I just want to see your actions behind it because I'm a woman and you have to impress. Like you have to physically impress me. You can't just say whatever to me. That doesn't impress me. And you know how many times men have. I want to bring it up, but men have said everything to me. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, and you
It
know I'm
doesn't
not.
impress me.
Like
What
I said,
impresses me is like actions, like you are fully going in and like you're contacting me. You're saying good morning. What's up? What's going on with you? How's work? How are you feeling? How are you stressed? How are you mentally? Because you know me, in my mental, I get depressed sometimes too. So you know that, but I know you get depressed too. So we have that relationship where we understand when we get there. Like I'm looking for that friendship and someone to be like, Millie, I got your back. What's going on with you? What's going on with work? Like, how like are you okay? Like, and you want me to do the same thing for you, vice versa. I get that, but like sometimes a man has to lead, and I'm looking for a leader. I love men that lead. A woman, not saying that we have to, lead. Sometimes you probably have to. Sometimes certain things you have to lead in, right? Especially leading a man to especially know what a woman wants. Sometimes men don't know. Men don't know what women want. They're just gonna string you along until you say what you want from them. Like, and I have no time. This is 34 now. But like, if you wanted to actually do something, like do something about how you truly feel. If you really feel some type of way, I don't know. You gotta figure that part out, Greg.
well, I was on the job jettison with the gold. So I did it once. I know I can do it before and really just turn it up. So it's just merely me saying to you, don't run, because I'm not objecting to really anything you just said right there. I didn't expect anyone. Hell, I wasn't. But
Yeah.
aside from all this and just being tired and everything like that, I know you still feel for me, and
Okay, Greg.
you lying to yourself. You know what I'm saying? So, and you ain't gonna hurt my feelings if you're saying okay with the with your patting it down or nah, but
I'm letting you talk. I'm not going. Hey, I'm letting you be you. I respect it, Greg. You know me, very respectful. So if you're saying how you feel, I'm not gonna shut that down. I'm just
exactly.
make you be yourself as you should.
Those lines of communication and everything, like I said too. And then I couldn't agree more as far as with the action and everything. So that's not something I'm supposed to do. I'm just saying I hope that you don't shy away when a brother has tickets to BT weekend and it sounds good to come on out and then you can't make it. So just don't be afraid.
Okay, Greg. I hear you.
You hear me? That's not my key sweat begging or anything like that. It's just like we said, we started off as friends and everything too. And I know it looks kind of foolish of 2 years. Hell, I think the same thing too. But in grind time, and I can deliver. So I'm not here to sell you on shit. Just pull up. Just know it. Just be ready.
And if I'm not,
Well, hell, I think that's everything we're trying to do. But like I said, I can't read your mind. So that's fine too. But stands to reason. Like I said, I'm doing everything. If I'm up under you right here and now, and you feel my presence and stuff, you'd have a different answer or a different
he
decision.
just Kojo, he's just so used to us being like online. So he just likes to flirt like this, like online. You see that FaceTime, online, texting. It's safe for him there. It's safe. This is safe for him. This phone ring. I'm just putting it out there, Millie. This is it. I'm like,
it's really not, because you're flip
just
flopping
like
like
when you met me for the first time, like, oh, she's actually what she said she is. Sorry. Oh, now you're shocked. Like,
you got to let
so
that. We're talking about here and now and everything too. Do you think I like getting? Obviously, he doesn't like it enough. He hasn't
weird.
called or whatever in this long. I don't like this phone shit. I'd rather pull up on you. Now I said I was
And
on some.
that's what you're used to. You're used to social media. You're used to just being able to see a chick and, online and like her picture. And that's just what you're accustomed to. But with a woman like me, Greg, you already know what you have to come with. So there's no discussion about that. We already talked about this. So, oh, okay, color. No, all right. Yeah.
You gotta
Yeah.
pay for them nails, nigga. Okay.
Yeah. And add a ring and put a ring on that too.
Listen, for real, put a ring on it because you go on 5. So put a ring on it, sir.
She just did.
He's scared for you.
No, don't ever think
Oh, I really am. I really
her. When she
Brother, just leave it alone. She done told you, leave it alone. Leave it alone, brother. Leave it alone. Come to the side, Greg. Come to the side, Greg. Okay?
We're better as friends. Greg knows that. Like, to keep it safe, yeah, we're better as friends because he's gonna test me and I'm gonna test him. It's very obvious. We both talked about what we test. He tests women and I test men too. So
I speak
at
for
this
my.
point of my life, am I going to continue to test men? No, I'm not. I'm going to be vulnerable. I have been working on myself. I did get baptized. I did have my awakening. I did know what I need to work on, and I'm working on those things. My delivery is completely different. I am talking to someone right now. My delivery is very different with him. Like, good guy. He was at the reason why I didn't invite you is because he was at my party, viewing party, right? So, yeah, that's just kind of like, yeah.
Which is fair. I definitely
Yeah, it's
understand
kind
that.
of gonna be hard to, have you there, have him there. Like when a person actually still cares about me, it's kind of awkward. And we didn't talk in 2 years. So, I mean, even though he was very supportive of the situation, like he was supportive, he loved everything. He loves Greg. Like he talks about like Greg, this and that. Like he's excited. He loves the show. Like he really loved everything. So I have to respect him too. But yeah.
God damn, this sounds like the friend zone is in deep. This brother, leave it. Run, cheetah, run. The friend zone's heavy.
I'm
I
not
promise
married
you.
though. I'm
I
not
promise
married.
you.
That's exactly
He's
why
getting there,
Greg is fine. I'm married. So
You
and
know what?
like
That is so interesting. FA say that a lot as well. I'm not married, so brother,
that's
there may be a chance. Actually, I take it back. There could be a chance, brother. Put the work in. Put the work in. Put the work in, sir.
what you want me to? What am I expecting her to say, Kojo? And the same thing with Millicent. Like I said, and that's an
mhm.
admirable speech. Like I get that, you know what I'm saying. But like I said, she knows 1,000 times I can only control what I've got my way, and what I know is what I want and what I will have, and I will get those things. And I just know my best, Greg, as you know, sounds good, but we make better than friends than you're leading on and stuff. So I don't mind all that because there's a situation. Hell, I had one too, and the show was
Exactly.
really kind of deteriorated some of that, but that's neither here nor there. I
Yeah.
know exactly, like I told her, it's just be ready for anything. It could be something like a cup of coffee, and she knows that, you know what I'm saying? And to her point, she's um, never not answer the phone and stuff. I just had to iron some things out as I said I would, you know what I'm saying? So I hate that it had to be 2 years. I know that sounds like some crazy shit. That sounds like my boy Josh shit, some 2 or 12 year shit, Millicent. But you're not gonna sit here with a straight face and this could be rhetorical and say that uh, now you know where I stand. So I'll just leave it at that. I don't.
Yes, I know that you love the person that I am, and I'm a different person now too. I've definitely grown from that moment and I'm way more polished now and I'm very aware of myself. Self-awareness is very important for me. I need to self-reflect a lot and I have to ask myself, why am I feeling the way I'm feeling? It's really deep now. Like, okay, are you feeling like that because you're about to get your period? That's probably just my period. So I'm learning a lot about myself, right? Like I'm totally different now. Like my response to a lot of things, I think the older I get, I just realize I'm just, yeah, everything
That's,
changed for me.
that goes both ways, right? Hell,
Yeah.
I'm right behind you, nipping at your heels in the age department. So like, you're not looking at the same Greg, the same man.
Oh, where you live now, Greg?
You know, you got to come see, pull up,
Funny.
come pull up, and we can get in a conversation about all them stuff, all the jokes aside. Like,
Well, I'm happy that you're doing well, and that's all I want for you, Greg. And you know that. I've been your cheerleader from day one, and I'll continue to be your cheerleader. Even if it's from far, we're not that far. We FaceTime, right? So we FaceTime and we have conversations and stuff. So we can continue that. I still want you in my life, even though we are not together. And that's fair to say. Like, because I know that we will do better as friends, and we are better as friends. I just think it's just too much. Like, yeah, it's just too much being in a relationship right now, especially with.
Brother, it's recoverable. I'm gonna send you the content that you need, Greg, to get this working. I'm gonna send you the content. I've heard all of this before, bro. This is it's possible. If you believe, I believe, bro. I'll send you the content that you need to have. Just go get it back.
Go just funny.
She's saying all the classic FA lines, bro. Okay, I'm telling you, you can get it back, bro. But you need to be dedicated, and you need to be dedicated for the situation if you really believe it. But that's if you really believe it.
Greg said, you know what Greg said? Greg said, if I get rich, Millie's gonna come back. He told my sister that if I get rich right now, Millie would be in my life right now. She would be at my doorstep if I had the chance.
Yeah,
Nah, that could be
was
true.
funny.
So
That's
I hope the money account has swollen a little bit as well, because we know how Millie likes a little of the financial security as well, bro. I don't want you to suffer. I'm just being real with you.
Millie knows what she's looking at, man. Like I said, that's a political good answer, and she's got to have that.
I wasn't asking for much, Greg, from you. I really wasn't. Let's just be honest. I was fair.
So that's what we just disagreed on a couple of things. Just the notion that we're just better as friends. Agree to disagree, because I don't feel like that at all. Friendship is always the most important thing. But trust me, if I pull up, you know what time it is, and you'd have a different tune, man.
Kojo, the girls that he's talking to, they're going to be livid. They're going to be so mad about this interview.
See how she always deflects.
He was just saying he loved me yesterday. What happened?
He want me to go back to the old ways.
Millie?
Yeah.
Greg has changed. He's a one woman man now.
And Kojo, you need to be telling. That's what I'm saying. Tell them flames on your side of the pond, man, and just leave me be. Like,
now you just telling me this, so I just try to save you, and you just threw yourself back in. I told you that you're one woman man, and you telling her that all the flaws on my side.
You talking about like I'm dancing around these answers? I'll give you the damn answer. So like, how you think her and I got to this space, and why it's been an uphill battle on certain aspects sometimes, because I could be overly truthful. I could lie and do anything. It'd be a damn good lie, and I can maintain it. But
I have discernment. It would have never worked for me.
I just be laughing. I got to twirl the hair.
That's what separates me from the girls you spoke to and the girl.
Where the hell are we? What just happened? The last few seconds, what just happened?
I don't know.
Why are we talking about lying? Why are we talking about discernment?
Sounds like she cares a little more than she let on, man. So I don't know where we're at. But I was talking about. I can't with this. I told everyone she's gonna be the death of me, man. Her ass is just this damn woman is crazy, man. No, Jojo, she ain't never said no, so.
I told you just gotta put the work in and be consistent. I told you what you need. I'm gonna send you the content. Don't worry about that. Okay, last question. What have you two learned in the last 2 years? What have you guys learned? What's been one of the important learns that you guys have gathered in the last 2 years? And that'll be our final question before we duck out, because I've held you for a long time and I appreciate you guys. So y'all look pretty together. I can't lie to you, but it's a shame. You know what I mean? But love to get your answers.
Greg, go first, and then I'll go last, because I've been going for too long.
I know baby girls is going to be something along the line. I came in here to be vulnerable, my true self, and discernment, and get to flipping that hair and everything like that. But I digress. What I learned the most, shit happens, man. You're going to go through some things. Point blank, period. Kojo is what I'm saying. Like, nothing is ever just queued up like on a slow pitch softball. You've got to go through and get it out of the mud, so to speak, of finding out what life is. Maybe if I didn't have some of these trials and tribulations, it wouldn't have led me right here and now to Millicent Reed, or all three of us enjoying a fine evening, and in your case, a morning right now. I now know that all of these transgressions led to this. It's built myself like this, and it's kind of always been like this. I was the type, I guess, in school where it's like, if it was the party or go study for the test, I'd G off and go do the party and get a D on the test and have to kind of redo that when you could have just done it right the first time. And my twin graduates and I'm on the 5-year plan, Just come around like 5 wine, like I said earlier on. And it's just not giving up. And that's not some cliche answer. Stay the course, man, because you can prevail. So I just want to keep the integrity and keep going. And it's all about ascension from here. So that's the best.
I think for me, thanks, Greg. Let me second that. Like, it's about keeping yourself accountable, honestly. I learned about kind of accountability. I really feel like in every area, with friends, with family, with relationships, I think like I learned more about myself, and that sometimes like I need to be more patient and kind. I think sometimes I go about things the wrong way, but I really don't mean to. It's just a little girl in me trying to cry out for attention. Honestly, it has nothing to do with anybody else, but unfortunately, that's just the way it kind of bleeds on people when I speak sometimes. And it's kind of like shocking to people, because some people didn't expect a certain person to like just be so real. A lot of people aren't real anymore. They're not really in tune with themselves. And I know that like my trauma is the reason why I am the way I am sometimes, but it's also, I think the trauma that I have is also my power. and I need to control it. You know, not everybody wants to fuck me. Not everybody wants to hurt me. Not everybody hates me. There's people that love me. There's people that really genuinely care. And for those people, I'm gonna try to work on myself more to show them like Millie's working on herself. It's about self, and it's not about nobody belongs to us anyway, if I could say that. Like nobody belongs to us. Everything is temporary in this world. But what's not temporary is my relationship with God, and that's forever. And that's just what I want to leave with everyone. Just know that once you work on yourself, it opens your heart to God. Now He can come in because you're humbled and now you understand. And that's it. That's where I'm at in life. Open vessel. I'm on earth to help somebody. So my story will help somebody, and that's the end of it. That's that.
I see these comments talking about Millie embarrassing her man. Gregg needs to move on and stuff. And like they're missing the big gist of the picture here. You think she said it? And we just said it. We ain't talked really in almost 2 years as far as anything.
2 years.
So if they're sitting here, I can take the crow, but you think I'm just sitting here crocheting or knitting? And I got a bulletin board of how to get that thing back. No, it starts with myself first. And now since we're just talking, because we're always going to be a unit in general, and then we're always going to be linked together on the show because we did this together.
Millie, you're making a big mistake. I see the comments. I just turned them on. But like, if Gregg is such a great guy, then be in his demons and be in his DMs, and you deal with Gregg. You know, you figure it out. Like, you know, if it's not meant for me and Gregg, I don't think I'm making a big mistake. I think 2 years later, you know, I think loving myself is important. If you guys don't think it's important to love myself, I don't really know what else you guys want me to do about that.
No, you
I agree.
Mistake thing. You didn't have to do all that. That shit.
Yes, and Gregg can have anybody he wants. Like, so why are you guys chastising me? Punishing me for what? But okay.
No, none of them can punish you. You're good. You're good. Don't even worry about it. Listen, I appreciate you too, because y'all kept it real and kept it true. You know, there was entertainment, there was real conversation. You know, and just it was a good it was a good time. You know what I mean? And you gave us insight as well into some of the past as well, and some of the in terms of your relationship and stuff that happened. So I really do appreciate the honesty as well. I wish you know, you guys grace and favor on your endeavors, and I pray that, you know, you both will get what you actually want and what you actually deserve as well. All right, not in that way, but in a good way, like, you know, what God has for you. You know what I mean? I pray for that for you too. Okay. All right. Listen, we're gonna go now, but audience, thank you so much. And thank you for joining us. I just want to be cheeky. Okay, listen, whilst I'm here, you know what I mean? If you have a relationship like these two, I think you need to join me in the coaching section. Okay, come and join me for the coaching, because we don't want to see you suffer. Okay, we don't want to see you in the space. Okay, we don't want to see you confess a love. Okay, all right, I want you to come and tell me so I can help coach you through this session. Do you know what I'm saying to you? All right, I'm being a little bit cheeky in that point, but you know, it was a very brave thing for you to do as well, Gregg, as well, to confess that, and we appreciate Millie as well for not nuking him at the same time. Listen, audience, we gonna see you another time. I know I've got Aaron coming soon. Listen, it is 8 o'clock in the morning, and I got therapy in a few hours, so listen, because we all need it. I'm crazy too. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. You click on that bell button for notification of uploads. It's me again, your favorite dating and relationship coach. We're going to love you and appreciate you. God bless you, Gregg. God bless you, Millie.